really different types of movies are on there. We're talking comedies, dramas, even some superhero movies, and they all have these endings that just leave you completely floored.
Yeah, it's wild. Like you think you know what's coming because you know what kind of movie you're watching, but then boom, they totally flip the script on you.
Exactly. And that's kind of what we're going to do today. We're going to like really dive into these twists, figure out why they work so well, why they can be even more powerful than the twists you get. It's like they're playing with your expectations in a way that makes them super memorable. So let's start with number 10 on the list. Some Like It Hot from 1953.
Okay, Some Like It Hot, classic movie. What's really interesting about it, I think, is how it kind of like subtly pushes back against all those strict gender roles that were so big in the 1950s.
Yeah, totally. Like the basic plot, if you haven't seen it, is about these two guys, these musicians, who accidentally witness a mob hit and they go into hiding.
Right, and the only way they can do that is to dress up as women and join this little female band.
And of course, hilarity ensues.
Oh, absolutely. The whole movie is just one hilarious situation after another. But then you get to the end, and one of the guys, Jerry, this millionaire, Osgood, is totally smitten with him and proposes.
And Jerry's like, there's something you should know. I'm a man.
And Osgood just shrugs and says, "Oh, nobody's perfect."
Such a classic line. And it's funny, obviously, but it also kind of hints at, a more open-minded way of thinking about identity, which was pretty radical for that time.
Oh, absolutely. It's like they're sneaking in this little bit of social commentary under the guise of a joke. Really clever.
All right, so moving on to number 9, we have Whiplash from 2014. Now, this one's not a thriller in the traditional sense, but it's definitely intense, like almost anxiety inducing.
For sure. It's all about this super driven young drummer, Andrew, and his instructor, Fletcher, who is just like this terrifyingly demanding perfectionist. The whole movie, you're just waiting for Andrew to crack under the pressure.
And the ending, it seems like a triumph for Andrew at first. He gets to play this crazy drum solo with this big competition, and it's amazing. Technically brilliant.
Yeah, like on the surface, it looks like he's finally made it, you know? He's achieved his dream.
But then as you're walking into the theater, you start to think about it, and you're left with this like unsettling feeling, like, what did it actually cost him to get there?
Exactly. Did he really win, or did he just become another Fletcher in the process? It's like the ending turns into this really complex, almost tragic thing.
Okay, number 8, Robot Dreams from 2023. This one is it's a really special movie, I think. Just incredible.
It is, and I think what makes it so powerful is how it kind of like layers these unexpected emotional moments on top of each other. It starts out as this really sweet story about a dog and his robot companion. They have this amazing bond, and you're expecting it to be like a classic tale of friendship. But then they get separated.
And you think they're gonna find their way back to each other, right? Like that's what usually happens in these kinds of stories.
Right. But then there's the scene where Robot sees Dog again, but he chooses not to go to him.
And that's the first twist, right? Like you're so used to seeing reunions in movies, and then they just don't do it.
Exactly. But it's not over yet. Later on, Robot starts playing their special song, September, and as he's playing it, they both start dancing, but they're not really together, you know? It's like they're connected through the music, but they're still apart.
Yeah, it's so sad, but so beautiful at the same time. Like you're hearing this familiar song, but it suddenly has this whole new meaning, this feeling of loss and longing.
Yeah, it's like the movie takes this ordinary song and turns it into something completely heartbreaking. Really powerful stuff.
Okay, get ready for a big shifts in gears because number 7 on the list is Avengers Infinity War from 2018.
A superhero movie.
Yeah. And usually superhero movies, they're all about good triumphing over evil. The heroes always win in the end.
Right, it's like a formula almost.
Exactly. So in Infinity War, you have Thanos, the supervillain who wants to wipe out half of all life in the universe, and the Avengers, they're obviously trying to stop him.
Like that's their whole thing, right? Saving the day.
Yeah. But in Infinity War, Thanos wins. Like he actually succeeds, and we see all these beloved characters, heroes we've been watching for years, just turn to dust.
Oh man, I remember when I first saw that.
Shocking. Like nobody expected that kind of ending, especially in a movie that big.
It's interesting though because the source material we were looking at actually said that if you were to keep Thanos as the main character, his victory wouldn't be a twist at all. It's all about perspective.
That's a good point. But for most people watching the movie, the ones who were rooting for the Avengers, it was a huge, unexpected twist, and it made the movie so much more memorable. I think. Okay, number 6 on the list is The Sting from 1973, a classic con artist movie with Robert Redford and Paul Newman.
This one's all about the con, you know. The whole movie is just this elaborate scheme to trick this mobster.
And you know they're going to pull it off,
Right.
because that's what con artist movies are about. But the fun is in seeing how they do it.
Yeah, like the whole movie is just layers upon layers of deception, fake deaths, mistaken identities. It's all so cleverly done.
And you think you're in on it, you think you're smarter than the characters in the movie, but then they hit you with this final twist, and you realize you've been played the whole time.
Totally. It's like a magic trick. You're watching it happen, but you have no idea how they're doing it. And that's what makes it so satisfying.
Alright, so number 5, Citizen Kane. This is like a legendary movie, considered one of the greatest films ever made.
It's a bit of a mystery, kind of a psychological drama, but it's really about this one question. What does Rosebud mean? Those are the last words of Charles Foster.
Ahora quiere dar muy buenas.
He's trying to figure out what it means.
And we, the audience, we get to see what Rosebud actually is.
Yeah, it's his childhood sled, like a symbol of his lost innocence, a happier time in his life. But the real twist is that none of the characters in the movie ever figure it out.
Yeah, the sled gets burned up, and the secret dies with Kane. It's kind of a bittersweet ending.
It is, and it makes you think about like how much we can really ever know about another person, even someone we're close to. There are always going to be these mysteries, these parts of them that we just can't access.
Yeah, that's deep. Okay, next up at number 4, we have Inglourious Basterds, Quentin Tarantino's war movie from 2009. It's definitely got some thriller elements to it, but it's more of a war story told in Tarantino's very unique way.
And the thing about Tarantino is he's not afraid to mess with history. Like in this movie, he completely rewrites the ending of World War II.
Yeah, so instead of, the Allies defeating the Nazis in the way we all learned in history class, Tarantino has this group of Jewish American soldiers, the Bastards. They sneak into a movie premiere and kill Hitler.
Yeah, like straight up assassinate him, along with a bunch of other top Nazi leaders. It's so audacious, so over the top, but that's Tarantino for you.
And it works. Like, it's so cathartic, so satisfying to see these horrible people get what they deserve, even if it didn't actually happen that way in real life. It's like Tarantino's giving us the ending we wish we had.
Exactly. He's playing with our expectations of what a war movie should be, and he's giving us this like alternate reality where the good guys get to win in the most spectacular way possible.
All right, speaking of Tarantino rewriting history, we have Once Upon a Time in Hollywood at number 3. This one's more of a dramedy, kind of love letter to old Hollywood, set in 1969.
Yeah, and it's mostly focused on these two characters, this actor and his stunt double, and their lives in Hollywood. But then the Manson family shows up, and it kind of throws this dark shadow over everything.
And we all know what happened with the Manson family in real life, right?
A horrible tragedy.
Exactly. But Tarantino changes things up. Instead of Sharon Tate being murdered, the Manson followers try to break into the actor's house, and they end up getting killed by the actor and his stunt double.
It's like a fairy tale ending, almost. Like a better version of reality where the good guys win and the innocent people are saved. It's a really interesting contrast to the darkness of the real events.
Okay, we're down to the top 2. At number 2, we have The Empire Strikes Back from 1980, probably the most beloved Star Wars movie. And it's full of surprises, like really dark and unexpected turns.
Yeah, the first Star Wars movie, it was very much a classic hero's journey, but Empire Strikes Back, it takes things in a much darker direction. The heroes, they lose, they get beaten down, and the ending is just like bleak.
Yeah, but the biggest twist that everyone remembers is when Darth Vader tells Luke, like, that line just changed everything.
It did. Suddenly, the whole story, Luke's whole identity, it's all different. And it sets up all this moral ambiguity, this complex relationship between Luke and Vader that plays out in the next movie.
And on top of that, Han Solo getting frozen in carbonite, the heroes retreating. It's just not the kind of ending you expect from a big blockbuster movie.
Nope. It's like they were really willing to take risks to subvert subvert expectations, and that's what makes it so great.
And finally, the number one spot on our list of the best non-thriller twist endings goes to the original Planet of the Apes from 1968. This movie has got a twist that's not just surprising, it's like deeply unsettling.
It really makes you think.
Yeah. So the basic premise is that these astronauts, they land on what they think is a new planet, but it's ruled by these intelligent apes. And the humans, they're like primitive animals that can't even talk.
Right, and the whole movie you're trying to figure out, how did this happen? What is this place?
And then in the final scene, you see the Statue of Liberty buried in the sand.
Chills every time. It's such a powerful moment.
It's like suddenly you realize that this whole time we've been on Earth, but it's Earth after some kind of apocalypse.
It's not just a twist, it's like a statement about humanity, our potential for self-destruction.
The fact that it's a science fiction
Agreed. It's like they're using the genre to sneak in this really deep message about our world.
So as we've seen, these 10 movies, they show us that twist endings, they're not just for thrillers. They can work in any genre, and they can be used for all sorts of things. Comedy, drama, social commentary, you name it. And when they're done well, they can really stay with you long after the movie's over.
Absolutely. Like a good twist can elevate a movie from its story, It can make you see the whole story in a new light, and it can keep you thinking about it for days.
So, here's something to think about. Which of these twists surprised you the most? And why do you think non-thriller movies can sometimes have even more powerful twists than actual thrillers? Think about how our expectations, based on what kind of movie we're watching, play into how effective a twist can be. It's pretty fascinating stuff.
Totally.
And that's our deep dive for today.
See you next time.
Okay, so we're diving deep today into a topic that I gotta say kind of creeps me out, but also like totally fascinates me at the same time.
I get it. It's one of those subjects that's hard to look away from, even if it makes you a little uncomfortable.
Exactly. Serial killer movies. I put together this list of 10 films that really get into that world. But I think what I'm most curious about is why these stories have such a hold on us. Like, what is it about these dark, often disturbing narratives that draws us in?
That's a great question. And I think one of the first things that jumps out from the list you've compiled is how diverse these films actually are. We're not just talking about straight up horror here. You've got psychological thrillers, dark comedies, satires, even a faux documentary in there. It's a really fascinating mix of approaches to a pretty unsettling subject.
Right. And I think that's part of what makes this whole thing so interesting to explore. It's not just about the thrill of the chase or the gore, although those elements are certainly there in some of these films. It's more about what these stories reveal about us, about the dark side of human nature, about the anxieties of us as individuals and as a society. So where should we start?
Well, I think a good place to begin is with a film that often tops these kinds of twists. Sunset.
Sera da gara ma odak. Uzma dedim ya da adam hakkın.
It really sets a bleak and nightmarish tone that I think a lot of people associate with this genre.
Wait a second. I mean, visually, it's just so oppressive. The constant rain, the grimy, nameless city, it all creates this sense of inescapable dread.
Absolutely. And it's not just the setting. The crimes themselves are horrific, meticulously staged by the seven deadly sins. The killer, John Doe, is like this embodiment of pure evil, but he's also got this twisted sense of purpose, using these murders as these gruesome morality lessons.
Right. And then you have the two detectives, Somerset and Mills, played by Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt, trying to make sense of it all. It's almost like they're being pulled into this abyss, this world of darkness, and it takes a toll on them.
That's a key element here. The film isn't just about catching a killer, it's about the psychological cost of confronting evil, the way it can eat away at you. And that ending, with Somerset's disillusioned words about the world being a fine place but not worth fighting for, it leaves you with this feeling of utter hopelessness.
Okay, so moving on to our number 2 pick, we have The Silence of the Lambs. This one came out a few years earlier in 1991. And it takes a slightly different approach, but it's still so intensely psychological.
Yeah, The Silence of the Lambs really hinges on the dynamic between Clarice Starling, this young FBI trainee, and Hannibal Lecter, the brilliant but terrifying cannibalistic psychiatrist. It's a battle of wits, but it's also about Starling having to confront her own fears and vulnerabilities to get what she needs from Lecter.
And Lecter, even though he's locked up, he holds all the cards. He's manipulating her, playing these mind games. But he's also giving her clues about Buffalo Bill, the serial killer she's trying to catch. Anthony Hopkins is Lecter is just so subtle. You can feel the menace underneath.
It's a masterclass in acting, sure. And the film really gets under your skin, exploring that idea that to understand true darkness, you sometimes have to get dangerously close to it. It's worth noting that this film actually swept the top 5 categories at the Oscars, which is incredibly rare for a genre film, especially one that's so unsettling.
That's right. It won Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor, Best Actress, and Best Adapted Screenplay.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive. Okay, so for number 3, we have to go back a few decades to Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho from 1960. This film is often credited with changing the game for horror movies.
Absolutely. Psycho is a masterclass in suspense and unexpected twists. What's brilliant about it is the way it sets you up thinking it's one kind of movie and then completely pulls the rug out from under you. You think you're watching a crime thriller about Marion Crane on the run, and then suddenly you're at the Bates Motel with Norman Bates and everything changes.
Yeah, that shower scene is one for the books. It was so shocking at the time, and it still holds up as one of the most iconic moments in horror cinema.
It's not just the violence itself, though. It's the way Hitchcock builds the tension, the use of stark black and white cinematography, the quick cuts and jarring angles in the editing, and that screeching score by Brainerd Herman. It all comes together to create this overwhelming sense of panic and terror.
And Anthony Perkins as Norman Bates, he's just unforgettable. That awkward charm masking something much darker and more disturbed underneath. So ahead of its time in terms of how it portrayed mental illness on screen.
Definitely. And it's interesting how Hitchcock managed to get away with so much given the strict censorship rules of the time. He had to be clever about it, using suggestion and implication rather than showing things directly, which actually makes it even more effective, I think.
For sure. All right, let's move on to number 4, which is another early classic, Fritz Lang's M from 1931. This one really set the stage for many of the conventions we see in serial killer films today.
Yeah. M is considered a landmark film for a reason. It focuses on Hans Becker, a child murderer, and the fear that he instills in an entire city. What's groundbreaking is how Lang shows us both sides of the story, the police investigation and the killer's perspective. We see how Becker is tormented by his own compulsions even as he commits these horrific acts.
And Peter Lorre's performance as Becker is incredible. You can really feel the character's inner struggle, the way he's both repulsed by and drawn to his dark desire.
Lang was a master of visual storytelling. The way he uses shadows and silence to create suspense, the intercutting between different storylines, it's all so effective. And the film also raises some really big questions about justice, mob rule, and the responsibility of society to protect its most vulnerable members.
Okay, let's jump ahead a few decades now to Bong Joon-ho's Memories of Murder. This one is from 2003, and it's based on South Korea's first documented serial murder case.
Memories of Murder is a really fascinating film because it offers such a different perspective on police work than we often see in Hollywood films. The detectives in this film, Park Do-man and Seo Tae-yoon, are far from perfect. They're flawed, they make mistakes, they get frustrated, and they sometimes resort to brutality.
It feels much more realistic, right? It's messy and chaotic, and there's a constant sense of desperation as they try to catch the killer, who always seems to be one step ahead.
Exactly. It's a deliberate subversion of those classic procedural tropes where the brilliant detective always solves the case with logic and deduction. And beyond the crime itself, the film also acts as a commentary on the political and social climate of South Korea in the 1980s, a time of great upheaval and uncertainty.
Right. Okay, for number 6, we're back to David Fincher with Zodiac. This one is from 2007, and it focuses on the real-life case of the Zodiac Killer, which, as you know, was never officially solved.
Yeah, Zodiac is a different kind of serial killer film because it's not about the satisfaction of seeing the killer brought to justice. It's about the obsession, the frustration, the toll that an unsolved case takes on those who are determined to crack it. You have Robert Graysmith, the cartoonist turned amateur sleuth, Paul Avery, the crime reporter, and Dave Toshi, the lead detective, and they all become consumed by this case.
The film does a great job of capturing that feeling of paranoia, the sense that the killer could be anyone, anywhere. And the way Fincher uses archival footage and meticulous recreations of real events, it gives the whole thing this eerie authenticity.
It's a slow burn, for sure, but it's so compelling. And it raises some interesting questions about the nature of obsession, of the unknown, and the power of these kinds of unsolved mysteries to capture our imagination.
All right, at number 7, we have a film that takes a much more satirical approach to the genre. American Psycho, 2000.
American Psycho is a wild ride. It's set in the 1980s, and it follows Patrick Bateman, this Wall Street yuppie who also happens to be a serial killer. The film is full of graphic violence, but it's also a sharp critique of consumerism, greed, and the shallowness of that era.
Christian Bale is phenomenal as Patrick Bateman. He's got this perfect blend of charisma and this, and you can never quite tell what's real and what's going on in his head.
Right. It's this brilliant satire of that whole Wall Street culture, the obsession with status symbols, the casual cruelty, and the sense that these guys are so disconnected from reality that they can get away with anything.
Okay, for number 8, we have a film that's truly disturbing, but also incredibly clever. Man Bites Dog, 1992. This is the one I mentioned earlier that's shot as a fro documentary.
Man Bites Dog is not for the faint of heart. It follows a film crew as they document the life of Ben, a charismatic but utterly ruthless serial killer. What makes it so unsettling is the way the filmmakers gradually become complicit in Ben's crimes, blurring the lines between observer and participant.
It's a really dark and twisted film, but it's also a brilliant commentary on our fascination with violence and the ethics of filmmaking. The black and white aesthetic and the handheld camera work give it this gritty, almost voyeuristic feel.
It's a film that definitely makes you question your own role as a viewer, your own complicity in consuming this kind of content. It's not easy to watch, but it's definitely thought-provoking.
All right, let's lighten things up a bit for number 9 with a classic dark comedy, Arsenic and Old Lace from 1944.
Arsenic and Old Lace. It's a delightful example of how a film about serial killers can actually be delivered. It's about two sweet old aunts who poison lonely old men with elderberry wine, believing they're doing them a favor.
And then you have their nephew, Mortimer, who's a drama critic, and the only seemingly normal one in the family, trying to keep everything under wraps. Cary Grant is so funny, all flustered and exasperated as the chaos unfolds around him.
It's a classic farce, full of mistaken identities, slapstick humor, and witty dialogue. It's a reminder that even within this dark subject matter, there's room for laughter and absurdity.
Number 10, we have Michael Powell's Peeping Tom from 1960. This one was highly controversial upon its release, but it's now considered a masterpiece of psychological horror.
Peeping Tom is a fascinating but deeply disturbing film about voyeurism and the nature of fear. It follows Mark Lewis, a cameraman who films women as he murders them, capturing their expressions of terror. The film explores the roots of his compulsion, which stem from childhood trauma inflicted by his own father.
It's a really unsettling film, but it's also really stunning and incredibly well acted. It makes you think about the power of the gaze, the way the camera can capture and exploit.
It's a film that
Oh,
really
dua,
pushes
coba, coba,
boundaries,
apa,
and
di
it's
sana,
interesting how
begini.
its reputation has changed over time. What was once considered exploitative and distasteful is now seen as a groundbreaking exploration of the darker side of human psychology.
So we've covered a lot of ground here, from their bleak nihilism of Sisseton to the darkly comedic absurdity of Arsenic and Old Lace. It's amazing to see how filmmakers have tackled this subject in so many different ways.
And I think that's part of what makes this genre so enduringly fascinating. It allows us to explore the extremes of human behavior, to confront our fears and anxieties, and to grapple with big questions about morality, justice, and the nature of evil itself.
It's not just about the thrills and chills. These films can really make you think about the world around you, about the darkness that exists within us all, and about the choices we make when faced with it.
Exactly. So the next time you find yourself drawn to a serial killer movie, ask yourself why. What is it about these stories that speaks to you? What anxieties or fascinations are they tapping into? I think you might be surprised by what you discover.
That's a great takeaway. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive. It's been, well, let's just say illuminating.
Absolutely. And a little bit unsettling, which I think is part of the point, right?
You got that right. Ever notice how when you think about a small town, you get this feeling like, picture it, Main Street,
Yeah.
maybe one traffic light, the whole everyone knows your name kind of vibe.
Right, right.
It's almost like this universal idea we all have about these places, like peaceful, safe, quiet.
Totally.
But and here's the thing:
Yeah.
what if that whole closeness thing, that sense of safety, when a small it's all kind of a front?
Oh, I like where you're going with this.
What if the really messed up, intense crimes that stick with you? What if those can actually like grow and take hold of these places that seem so idyllic?
You're talking about that contrast, right?
Exactly.
Like how we think of small towns as peaceful and quiet, but then there's this potential for something really dark and twisted underneath.
Yeah. And that clash, those two opposites, that's what makes these kind of stories so gripping, so fascinating.
It makes you question everything you think you know about a place and about people too.
For sure. And so that's what we're going to really get into today. Okay, I'm ready. We've got this list, right? Of the 10 best small town crime movies.
10 best, huh? We've got our work cut out for us.
And this deep dive, think of it like a cheat sheet, but like a really engaging cheat sheet
I like those.
to help us understand why these seemingly sleepy places, these small towns, become the backdrop for these really dark, compelling stories.
So we're looking at what makes small towns so ripe for crime stories in movies.
Exactly. And we're going to be pulling from plot summaries, critical reactions, the whole shebang.
All the good stuff.
But the main goal, the mission here, is to unpack why small towns and crime just work so well together on screen. What is it about that combination that pulls us in?
And I think looking at this list, one thing that jumps out is how these movies all kind of chip away at that perfect small town image.
Yeah, it's like they're peeling back the layers, showing you what might be hiding underneath.
Right. They show you how secrets can get very deep, how resentment can simmer for years, and then how violence can just erupt suddenly in places you'd least expect.
And that intimacy, which is usually seen as like a good thing in small towns, everyone being close,
Yeah, like a sense of community.
gets twisted to something else, right?
Yeah.
When things go wrong, that closeness can become this breeding ground for tension and suspicion.
Definitely. Because everyone knows everyone's business, so it's hard to hide it. And that can be a recipe for trouble.
Okay, so let's dive into the list.
Let's do it.
Number 10, Mystic River.
Okay, Mystic River.
And it's set in Boston, but not the whole city. It's focused on this one neighborhood.
Right, so it still has that small town.
Yeah, that everyone knows everyone kind of thing. And it's about this murder, this really devastating murder of J.B. Markham's daughter. And it pulls in his two childhood friends, Dave and Sean. Dave is the last person to see her alive,
Oh, wow.
and Sean is the detective on the case.
So they're both right in the middle of this horrible situation.
And to make it even more complicated, Jimmy, the father, he starts his own investigation.
So you've got all these layers of grief, suspicion, the past all tangled up together.
Right, and what makes Mystic River more than just a whodunit is how it explores trauma.
You mean how the characters' past experiences shape their present?
Exactly. It looks at how childhood trauma can leave these lasting scars on people and on a whole community.
And how those scars can influence how they react to this tragedy.
Exactly. And those Oscar-winning performances, Sean Penn, Tim Robbins.
Amazing performances. They really bring you into the emotional turmoil these characters are going through.
Oh, absolutely. And Kevin Bacon, too. He's fantastic in that.
He's often overlooked, but his performance is really nuanced.
Right. It's a film that stays with you, even after you know all the twists and turns.
For sure. It's under your skin.
Okay, let's move on to number 9. A History of Violence.
This one I
And this is your classic small town setting. The story focuses on Tom Stahl.
Tom Stahl.
He owns this quiet diner. One day, he stops a robbery really bravely.
Instant hero.
Totally. But then this guy, Carl Fogarty, shows up.
Oh,
And he's convinced Tom is actually this monster in hiding.
so the small town hero might have a
Yeah, and the movie really digs into this question. Can you ever truly escape your past?
especially when violence is involved. It's like, can you ever really leave that behind?
Right. And it looks at how violence can be cyclical, how it can keep repeating itself.
How it affects not just the person committing the violence, but everyone.
Their families,
And Viggo Mortensen, he's amazing as Tom Stahl. You totally believe him as both this quiet family man and someone with a violent past.
right. Like, is he a good guy?
Lo
forced
vuelve
into
a
violence, or is he
persona,
something else entirely?
And that small town setting
Come
makes
there.
it even more intense because everyone thinks they know Tom.
Okay, number 8. The Simple Plan.
Okay, what's simple about this plan?
Oh, nothing is simple about this plan. It's all about how a seemingly easy decision can go so wrong.
So what's the plan?
Okay, so there's Hank Mitchell, his brother Jacob, who's, well, a little less reliable, shall we say,
Okay.
and their buddy Lou. They find a crashed plane.
A crash plane.
Yeah, and inside, There's $4 million.
Wow.
So they decide, hey, let's keep this a secret.
Yeah, that's where things usually go wrong in these movies.
Right. And things get really bad really fast.
Okay, so not so simple after all.
The film shows how greed can corrupt even people who seem like they have good morals.
Yeah, that temptation, it can change people.
And Hank, he's supposed to be the responsible one, but he gets pulled into it too.
So the money tears them apart.
Absolutely. And because it's a small town, secrets are hard to keep.
Right, everyone knows everyone.
It adds this pressure cooker feeling to the whole thing.
Like they're trapped.
And Sam Raimi, the director, he's got this background in horror movies, and he brings that tension to a simple plan.
Oh, interesting.
You're constantly on edge, waiting for the next bad thing to happen.
Like a slow burn horror movie, but with money.
Okay, number 7, Hell or High Water.
Hell or High Water. Love this one.
This one takes us to
خفيفة
Texas.
بيلتا جخبري
It's
خفيفة
about these two brothers, Toby and Tanner.
Okay.
They start robbing banks.
Whoa, hold on. Why?
Well, here's the thing. It's not just about getting rich. They're trying to save their family's ranch.
So it's like a Robin Hood situation.
Kind of, but more complicated.
I figured.
And there's this Texas Ranger, Marcus, and his partner Alberto on their trail.
Okay, so it's a chase.
It is, but it's also about family, loyalty, and what happens when you're desperate.
And it's a Western, right?
It's a modern Western, yeah. It's got that classic Western feel, but set in the present day.
That's what I love about it. It takes those classic themes and updates them for today.
And the landscape, West Texas, it's almost a character in the film.
Yeah, those wide open spaces, it adds to the feeling of both freedom and desperation.
It's beautifully shot, too. And the director, Taylor Sheridan, he's the guy who did Yellowstone, you know?
Oh, yeah, I love that show.
He's really good at capturing these small town communities where people are struggling, where the old ways of life are clashing with modern problems.
And he makes you understand why these brothers would do what they do, even if it's illegal.
Exactly. You might not agree with their choices, but you get where they're coming from.
Okay, what's next on the list?
Number 6, Wind River.
Wind River, another one set out west.
This one takes place on a Native American reservation in Wyoming.
Okay, so very isolated.
It is. It starts with this wildlife officer, Corey Lambert, finding the body of a young woman.
Oh, man,
Turns out she was raped and murdered.
that's awful.
And so this FBI agent, Jane Banner, shows up to investigate. But she's not familiar with the reservation, so she has to rely on Corey's knowledge.
And navigate that world, yeah.
And the film really shines a light on the issues that these communities face.
Issues that a lot of people don't even know about.
Right, like systemic neglect, violence, the feeling of being forgotten.
It's powerful stuff.
Jeremy Renner and Elizabeth Olsen, they give these really incredible performances.
They're both such great actors.
And the setting, Wyoming, is so stark and beautiful,
Yeah.
but it also reflects that sense of isolation.
Yeah, like the landscape is mirroring the characters' internal states.
And it's a slow burn. The tension builds slowly throughout the film, but it's so gripping. You're just pulled into this world and these characters' lives.
Okay, I'm adding this one to my list.
Definitely worth watching. Okay, we're getting to the top 5 now.
All right, let's hear it.
Number 5 is Badlands.
Badlands. Haven't seen that one.
It's a bit of a different one. It's based loosely on those real-life murders by Charles Starkweather and Carol Ann Fugate.
Oh, wow. So true crime inspiration.
Yeah, but it's definitely stylized, not like a straight retelling. It's about this teenage girl, Holly, and her older boyfriend, Kit.
Older boyfriend. How much older are we talking?
Enough that her dad doesn't approve. And things get really bad when Kit kills her father.
Oh, jeez.
And then they go on the run, this crime spree across the Midwest.
So it's a road movie, but with a lot of darkness.
Right, and it's told from Holly's point of view, which is what makes it so unsettling.
How so?
She narrates the whole thing, but she's so detached, even when Kit is doing these awful things.
Sounds like she's numb to it all.
Yeah, and that makes you question what's going on in her head. It's disturbing, but also fascinating.
Like you want to understand how someone could become that detached from reality.
And this was Terrence Malick's first film, the director.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and you can see some of his signature style already, even in his debut.
Yeah.
That way of using landscapes and visuals to create mood and atmosphere.
So beautiful but disturbing.
Exactly. It's a film that stays with you because of how it makes you feel, more than just the plot itself.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
All right, number 4,
Hit me with it.
In Cold Blood,
Now that's a classic.
a total classic. It's based on Truman Capote's book. You know, the one about the Clutter family murders.
Yeah, I remember reading about that case. It was brutal.
It was. These these two ex-convicts, Perry Smith and Richard Hickok, to the Clutter family's house in Kansas.
Thinking they were rich.
Right, they full of cash, but they were wrong, and they ended up killing the whole family. And film doesn't shy away from the horror of what happened.
But it's also about the killers, right?
Yeah, it tries to understand who they were, what led them to this point.
So it's not just about the crime, but about the people involved.
And the film has this almost documentary-like feel to it. Very stark, very real.
That makes sense, given Capote's approach to the book. He really dug deep into the story.
And Robert Blake and Scott Wilson, they give these chilling performances as the killers. You really feel like you're seeing these real people with all their flaws, darkness.
It's a film that forces you to think about the dark side of human nature and how violence can erupt in most unexpected places.
In that small town setting, it makes it even more impactful. This family living their lives, and then this sudden brutal act, it shatters that sense of peace and safety.
Okay, we're in the top 3 now. What's next?
Number 3, 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri.
Oh, this one's great.
It's about Mildred Hayes. Her daughter was murdered, but the case went cold.
So no justice for her daughter.
Right. And she's angry. She wants answers. So she does this really bold thing.
What's that?
She puts up 3 billboards right outside the town.
Billboards, what do they say?
They call out the police chief, William Willoughby, for not solving the case.
Wow, that's taking it public.
Yeah, and it causes this huge uproar in the town.
I bet everyone's talking about it.
And the film explores her grief, her rage, and how far she's willing to go to get justice.
It's a powerful story about a mother's love and her fight for her daughter.
But it's also about how this small town reacts.
Right, because those billboards, they force everyone to take sides.
And it brings up all these questions about right and wrong, about justice and how it's served.
And it's got this amazing cast. Frances McDormand as Mildred is phenomenal.
Oh, she's incredible. And Woody Harrelson as the police chief.
And Sam Rockwell, he plays this cop, Vixen, who's really struggling.
Right, he's got his own demons.
And the film doesn't make it easy. There's no clear heroes or villains.
Yeah, it's messy and real, and that's what makes it so compelling.
Okay, I'm on the edge of my seat. What's number 2?
Number 2 is No Country for Old Men.
Ah, the Coen brothers.
It's set in West Texas like hell or high water, but this one has a different feel, much more intense.
Okay, tell me more.
So this guy, Llewellyn Moss, he finds the aftermath of a drug deal gone wrong.
Gone wrong how?
Like, everyone's dead, and there's $2 million just sitting there.
Oh boy, here we go again.
He takes the money, of course.
Who wouldn't? But that's gotta be a bad idea.
It is. It puts him on this collision course with Anton Chigurh.
Who's that?
He's a hitman, but not your average hitman. He's like this force of nature, completely ruthless.
Sounds terrifying.
He is.
Yeah,
The film is about fate, free will, those big questions.
heavy stuff.
It is, but it's also incredibly suspenseful. You're just waiting to see if Llewellyn can outrun Chigurh.
And Kenny.
You'll have to watch and see. But Javier Bardem, he won an Oscar for his portrayal of Chigurh. He's unforgettable.
Okay, I'm ready for number 1.
Okay, the top spot goes to Fargo.
Fargo! I knew it! That movie's a masterpiece.
Coen brothers at their best. It's got everything. Crime, dark humor, and this small town setting that's both familiar and unsettling.
So what's the story?
It's about Jerry Lundegaard. He sells cars, but he's in a lot of debt.
Uh-oh. Sounds like trouble.
He is. He comes up with this crazy plan to hire 2 guys to kidnap his wife.
Kidnap his own wife. Why?
For the ransom money, he thinks he can trick his father-in-law into paying it.
Oh man, that's so messed up.
And of course, the plan goes completely wrong.
Well, yeah, it's the Coen brothers. Nothing goes right in their movies.
And Frances McDormand, she plays Marge Gunderson, the police chief.
Oh, Marge, she's the best.
She's pregnant, super sharp, and she's the one trying to unravel this whole mess.
And she's hilarious too.
The way she talks, her whole demeanor, it's iconic. And she's the moral center of the film.
Right, she's surrounded by all this chaos and absurdity, but she stays true to herself.
It's a film that makes you laugh, cringe, and really think about the choices people make.
And how, even in the most ordinary places, things can go very, very wrong.
So we've gone through all 10 films. What are your thoughts?
Wow, it's amazing how many common themes run through all these stories.
Right. Like what?
Well, that idea of the peaceful small town being shattered, it happens over and over again.
Yeah, the facade is broken, and we see the darkness underneath.
And greed, it's a powerful motivator in so many of these films.
People doing terrible things for money, or for what they think will solve their problems.
relationships, trust, betrayal. That's a big one too.
Especially in these small towns where everyone knows each other.
Right, those betrayals cut deeper because the bonds are supposed to be stronger.
In the past, it keeps coming back to haunt the characters.
Like they can't escape what happened before.
And then there's this question of morality. What happens when people are pushed to extremes?
Do they hold on to their values or do they compromise?
It's something all these films make you think about.
In the small town setting, it's not just a background, it's like another character in these stories.
Yeah, it shapes everything. The intimacy, the isolation, it all plays a part.
The intimacy can make the betrayals more intense, like you said,
And the isolation, it can both hide secrets and make the violence more shocking.
because you don't expect it in these quiet, seemingly peaceful places.
So in a way, these films are all about subverting our expectations of small towns.
Yeah, they use that image we have, that idealized image, and they turn it on its head.
And through that, they explore the darker aspects of human nature.
They show us that even in the most idyllic settings, darkness can exist.
And that the things we think of as strengths in small towns, like closeness and community,
Yeah,
those things can also create vulnerabilities.
because familiarity can breed secrecy. And maybe even a willingness to look the other way when things go wrong.
It's like the very things that make small towns appealing can also make them susceptible to these kinds of stories.
So it makes you wonder.
It does. It makes you think about your own perceptions of small towns and whether those perceptions hold up when you look a little closer.
And it makes you wonder if maybe we're all just a little bit vulnerable no matter where we live.
So here's something to think about. We often say that the close-knit nature of small towns is a good thing.
Yeah, people looking out for each other, a sense of community.
But what if that very closeness, that everyone knows everyone dynamic, what if that can also make it easier to keep secrets?
Oh, interesting.
Because if you don't want something to get out, you can rely on that unwritten code of silence.
The don't air your dirty laundry mentality.
Exactly. And what if that silence, that unwillingness to speak up, can actually allow bad things to fester?
So the same thing that creates that sense of community can also make it harder to address problems.
Right. It's a complicated issue, and it's something to consider the next time you think about the appeal of small town life. Because maybe it's not as simple as we often imagine.
Food for thought for sure.
Thanks for joining me on this deep dive. And to our listeners, keep those questions coming, and we'll keep exploring.
Always a pleasure. Until next time. Okay, so we're back for another deep dive.
Always a pleasure.
And this time,
This time.
we're talking Game of Thrones.
Oh, yeah.
And we're looking specifically at really what I think is at the core
Yeah.
of what made that show,
The heart of it.
so captivating.
Absolutely.
Which is the performances, the
Yeah.
acting.
Performances.
And so we have this list,
We're working from a list.
a top 10 list of the best performances from Game of Thrones.
And this list is so interesting
Yeah.
because it comes at it from this angle of like
Mm-hmm.
George R. R. Martin,
Yeah.
the author of the books,
Yeah.
was so inspired by William Faulkner.
Right?
That idea of the human heart in conflict with itself.
Oh, it's so true.
And you see that throughout Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Even with the dragons and the White Walkers and all this
All the fantasy elements.
magic stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. It all comes down to these characters and these
Exactly.
background struggles.
Inner turmoil.
Yeah.
Power, loyalty, fear,
Ambition.
betrayal, love.
It's all there.
Yeah.
I think that's the strength of this list.
Yeah, and I think even when and let's be honest, the later seasons of Game of Thrones,
Oh, yeah.
some people loved them,
Sure.
some people hated them.
A little divisive. Yeah.
But I think something we can all agree on was
Absolutely.
the acting was phenomenal.
Talent was off the charts.
Yeah, these actors really took these complex
Morally gray characters.
characters that could have very easily been one-dimensional
Yeah.
and gave them so much depth.
Breathed life into them.
Yeah, so that's what we're going to be looking at today.
Yeah, let's unpack these performances.
Let's get into it. We're going to start at number 10,
Okay.
and it is Eddard Stark,
Eddard Stark.
played by
May it be?
Sean Bean.
Yeah.
Phenomenal actor.
Yeah, so, I mean, how do we even begin?
I mean, think about Eddard Stark. Yeah, Gordon of the North,
Yeah, his whole history with Robert Baratheon.
right, for the rebellion.
Yeah, and then being asked
Kind of thrust into this position,
Yeah,
be the hand of the king.
to be the head of the king.
It's like going into the lion's den,
Yeah,
especially for a man like him.
yeah. I mean, and talk about perfect casting.
Oh, they nailed it. Sean Bean,
Yeah, apparently he was,
one of the first choices,
yeah, he was always on their list.
alongside Peter Dinklage too, actually.
Oh, interesting.
So
the first moment Sean Bean appears on the screen, he just has this
Gravitas.
gravitas, this weight.
This like quiet dignity.
Yeah, like he's seen some stuff.
You can see it in his eyes.
Yeah,
Shamradosu.
losses.
But also this unwavering sense of honor.
Yes.
Like he's not gonna compromise
Yeah, he's raising his children to be good and honorable.
Hidashi.
in a world that seems to have forgotten what honor even means.
In a world where everyone's compromising,
Exactly.
What about Hidashi?
Manipulating, scheming.
and he just refuses to play that game.
Which is interesting because the source kind of points out this here, which is that Eddard's goodness
That's
is almost his
what I
own.
took it over.
Right.
Like by trying to operate with honesty and decency in this really cutthroat world and manipulative,
It ends up costing him everything.
ultimately seals his fate.
It's brutal. It's really brutal.
It's a gut punch to the audience.
Yeah, because you think,
You think that should prevail.
yeah, you're rooting for him.
You're like, surely
Surely he'll find a way. But it's Game of Thrones. No one is safe, and that really sets the stage, I
it sets
think,
the tone
for the
for
entire.
everything that comes after.
Yeah, no one is safe.
No matter how noble or good they might seem.
Okay, we have to move on to number 9, and this
This is a fascinating one.
a very different character.
Completely different energy. Martel,
Played by
Pedro Pascal,
Pedro Pascal. Oh my gosh,
having
having a huge moment.
Mandalorian.
Yeah, he's everywhere, and you can see why from this performance.
Absolutely.
So Oberyn Martell.
Prince Dorn,
Yeah, so he comes from this completely different
part of the world.
culture, part of the world.
Yep, very different from the Starks.
Yeah, he's got this very different energy,
Very much so. Yeah.
and he's driven by one thing:
Revenge.
revenge. Yeah.
He wants justice for his sister Elia, who was brutally murdered
During Robert's Rebellion.
by Gregor Clegane the Mountain.
Yeah.
So he's been carrying this pain, this rage,
Yeah. And then he sees an opportunity.
with Tyrion's Drellic comment.
Yes.
He's like, this is my chance to finally face this monster.
To get my revenge. And Pedro Pascal just
Owns it.
owns every scene he's in.
He's got this incredible
Oh,
charisma.
and this ability to
Shift between like playful and seductive, and then serious and intense.
Yes.
Like you never quite know
You never know what you're
I
gonna
have
get.
it.
what side of him you're gonna get.
Yeah, he's very
Ah,
But in control. Yes, completely in control.
Yeah, he takes what he wants.
He's not afraid to go after it.
Yeah,
How
the
about
source
a-
makes a really good point, which is it's not just about like him being like a pleasure seeker.
No.
Like it's rooted in
Pain.
yeah.
no, isomero.
Revenge.
Yeah, so it's interesting how those things can fuel someone,
Make it right.
but also soothe them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it makes you think about
Nature.
yeah, how it can warp you.
Twist.
Yeah. So it's a great performance.
A memorable one, for sure.
Okay, so we have to move on to number 8.
All right, let's do it. Amy
Muldra panse bana.
This
Anlattım bana muldra var.
throughout the show.
Yeah, in the beginning you just kind of see him as this
One who breaks his oath to kill the Mad King.
yeah, like you're supposed to hate him.
Yeah, the source points out how initially he's almost like a caricature of a villain
Yeah,
with his cutting remarks and that smirk.
that Lannister smirk.
You love to hate him.
Yeah,
Sen
then
bir kere
Pastor
okudun.
Waldo really starts
O
to
şey yok.
Peel back those layers.
yeah, to show you the
Kafasına kadar giyiniyor. Depresyonun tapati diyor. Bunu kadar şey yaşasam adam gibi.
specifically mentions
Bak orada tatile kakala bile hanım ki soy sok yum kadar diyor kastı.
That was a turning point. That was a turning point because you saw this exhaustion in him,
yeah,
this weight in his past, and also this kind of cynical understanding of
right.
the hypocrisy of the order in
I
Westeros.
think it's all a game.
It's all a game, right?
Yeah, and he's been playing it.
But he's also been hurt by it.
Yeah, so it's really interesting how
Nereye
Cosmo
gidiyorsun?
Waldo manages to
Daha bu var mı?
humanize a character who starts off so
O kadar iyi bir yapamıyorum.
Despising him,
Lan bu ne böyle oluyor?
not with him,
yeah, to understanding him.
Balon da ne
Yeah,
diyorsun?
and I think a lot
Öyle
of
bir
that
basit
is
yapıyor.
due to
that portrayal of his inner conflict,
yeah,
push and pull between his loyalty to Cersei and his burgeoning sense of honor.
right,
It makes you question,
yeah,
can someone like that truly be redeemed?
yeah.
It's a question that
Hı hı.
So definitely a fascinating Okay, so we have character Ramsey Bolton.
Sadece bir dakika haberin yok.
Right. Driven by this insatiable ambition to be himself, to be legitimate,
Yeah.
but also this just pure sadism.
And the source does not shy away
No, they go into detail.
from the awful things he does.
The flaying, the psychological torture,
Yeah.
the hunting of human beings,
What he does to Theon
especially Theon.
and to Sansa.
Yeah,
It's just horrifying.
some of the darkest stuff in the show.
But Iwan Rheon,
Oh, he's chilling.
he is so good at being evil.
Like he embodies it.
Yeah, it's almost like he enjoys it.
There's this unsettling glee he takes in inflicting pain.
Yes.
It's in his eyes.
Yeah, and those little smiles,
Those smirks.
the taunt,
Yeah, what's even more disturbing is those moments when he tries to be kind.
right?
Because you know it's all a facade,
Yeah, you know the monster's right there.
lurking beneath the
Ah,
surface.
Yeah.
Between the famed
Between
cruelty
Yeah, it makes you wonder about the nature.
right.
Like, are some people just born bad?
Is the nature
Sandy.
and
Warena, acaba de criticar esse campo aqui bruto.
Yeah, he set a new bar for villains.
for sure.
Let's move on. Number 6. This is a character who goes through so much.
Oh, so much pain.
Theon Greyjoy,
Theon Greyjoy.
played by
Yeah,
Alfie Allen.
Yeah.
And the source
Tata çay mı içiler
is
havale?
that Alfie Allen's
Tata çay içiler havale. Otur gora. Otur gora.
Theon's story is just
Otur gora.
Brutal.
yeah, heartbreaking. So Theon is raised with
Doesn't work, yeah.
yeah, after his father's rebellion.
Right.
So he has this
Mana payah havale mana tu? Payah
interesting
havale.
with the stars.
Mas tu ya. Ah, var. Otur gora.
In the early seasons, he has this spell.
Yeah, he's trying to prove himself.
You can sense the insecurity.
A conflict.
And then, of course,
Transformation.
he becomes real.
Yeah. And Alfie Allen.
Di sana. Di sana.
Completely
Kita kena. Dah berapa orang kali berapa video baru? Dah tak kian, kian. Boleh tak?
devastation.
Yeah.
Like you understand the trauma that Ramsay inflicted.
And it makes it vengeful.
Yeah. The small acts of defiance
Yeah.
and ultimately the sacrifice. This shows you that even after enduring such unimaginable horror, the human spirit can still find a way to fight back.
Yeah. It's good. Okay, let's move on to number 5.
Okay.
And this is a character,
Oh, she's a favorite.
yeah, a fan favorite,
Olenna Tyrell,
Olenna Tyrell.
Queen of the
The Queen of Thorns, played by the incredible
Diana Rigg.
yeah. So she is
Iconic.
iconic.
She brought so much to this role.
Yeah. So Olenna Tyrell.
She's this sharp-minded matriarch.
Yeah, she's got that wit.
She's always one step ahead.
And she's fiercely protective of her granddaughter,
Marguerite.
Marguerite. Yes, and she has no patience for foolishness or
Incompetence.
yeah, like especially her own son.
Mace.
Yeah.
Mace.
Hey, she has no time for him.
She has no time for him.
It's hilarious.
It's hilarious, those scenes between
yeah,
them.
that the source makes a good point about that.
Yeah. But what I think is so fascinating about Olenna is she sees what Joffrey is
Yeah, from the start.
from the start.
She sees his cruelty
Yeah, and she learns about it.
from Sansa,
Yeah, Sansa confides in her.
and she's like, okay, I have to protect my granddaughter
Yeah.
from this this monster.
Yeah, and that sets in motion so many events.
So much of what
Şeyler
unfolds.
kızım.
Yeah, and Diana Rigg just owns every this incredible presence.
Has regal authority that comes through in her dialogue.
Every line is a gem.
Yeah, she's just so quotable.
And what's amazing is even as the show goes on, her performance never falters.
It never falters.
She remains this consistent highlight.
Yeah, and that final scene.
Oh, don't even get me started.
With the mic drop moment.
It's incredible.
Yeah, she maintains her composure.
Even
Soğuk ama.
Facing death. Yeah.
she's still got that biting intelligence
Yeah, and that final confession.
about Joffrey.
İyi mi?
Oh,
It's a
okay.
perfect ending for her character.
Yeah, it's just a masterclass in acting.
Absolutely.
So Diana Rigg,
A legend,
a
Adamı
legend,
fırlatmış.
gone but not forgotten.
definitely not forgotten.
Her performance will live on.
Okay, so we're getting into the top four now.
Okay.
Cersei Lannister,
Cersei Lannister,
played by
Lena Headey,
Lena Headey.
Onu eski gibi.
phenomenal.
yeah, so Cersei.
She's driven by this deep desire for power
Yeah, the source talks about how she always felt overshadowed
by Jaime,
by Jaime. Yeah, because Jaime was
the golden boy,
yeah, the one their father favored.
and she resented that.
Yeah, and then her marriage to Robert.
Oh, a disaster from the start.
Yeah, and then her relationship with Jaime.
Incestuous relationship.
Yeah, and the children that result from that.
Yeah, it shapes her entire worldview,
Yeah.
her every action.
But what I think is so fascinating about Lena Headey's performance is she adds this layer of vulnerability.
Yeah, you see it beneath that icy exterior.
Yeah.
Those moments of fear.
Yeah, and also her fierce protectiveness of her children.
Oh, absolutely.
That's a driving force for her.
It's primal. It's visceral.
Yeah, even when she's doing terrible things,
You can understand why.
you can understand why.
Because she's doing it to protect her children.
Yeah, and I think that's a testament to Lena Headey's
Ability to make you empathize with.
a character who is often
So villain.
so villainous.
She's complex.
She's so complex.
And Hetty navigates that complexity
Beautifully.
brilliantly.
Yeah, and her nonverbal acting.
Oh, it's subtle,
So subtle.
but so powerful.
A look, a slight smile.
A flicker of fear in her eyes.
Yeah, she can convey so much.
Without saying a word.
Yeah, she's incredible.
Truly a phenomenal actress.
Okay, we're getting down to the top three.
Okay, let's do it.
Number three,
A character everyone loves to hate.
Joffrey Baratheon,
Joffrey.
played by
Jack Gleason.
Jack Gleason.
What a performance.
Yeah.
So Joffrey
This
is,
Cersei's son,
yeah,
the product of incest.
Yes.
And he is just
the worst.
the absolute worst.
He's spoiled.
Cruel. He enjoys tormenting others.
Yes, especially Sansa.
Oh, especially Sansa.
He really takes pleasure in
Humiliating her.
humiliating her.
Yeah. And Jack Gleason,
Давай я
Just
как бы
nails
вот
it.
he's so good at being awful.
Yeah, and it's interesting because the source points out that he's become like the gold standard for portraying like a young tyrant.
Unlike that petulant,
Yeah,
cruel,
that bitch.
and that casual cruelty.
Yeah, he has those moments where he's just like
So cowardly.
such a coward.
When he's actually challenged.
Yeah, he shrinks.
Folds.
Yeah, and it's so interesting to see interviews with Jack Gleason because he seems like
The nicest guy.
the nicest guy.
So sweet and humble.
Yeah, which is just a testament to
His talent.
his acting
He
ability.
completely transformed himself into this monster Joffrey.
And I think
It's a testament to his skill.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah. Cathartic moment in the audience.
Okay, so we're down to the final two. Number two is
The In Theory.
Tyrion Lannister,
Tyrion Lannister,
played by
Peter Dinklage.
Peter Dinklage.
One of the most beloved characters,
Yeah.
and for good reason.
So Tyrion, he's always been,
Underestimated
by his family
by everyone.
because of his,
Dwarfism.
yeah, and the circumstances of his birth.
Right, his mother died
Yeah,
giving birth to him.
yeah, so he's always kind of been
An outcast,
an outcast.
even within his own family.
But he has this,
Brilliant mind
yeah, this sharp wit.
and a surprising amount of compassion,
Yeah,
especially for those who are also marginalized.
yeah, he sees the world differently.
And he understands what it's like to be judged.
Yeah, and Peter Dinklage's performance is just
Iconic.
iconic.
I mean, those early seasons,
Yeah,
he's just so good.
he's so good.
He delivers those lines
Yeah,
with such wit, precision,
yeah, he can be funny
compassionate.
and then furious.
And he's got this rage.
Yeah, and the source highlights his speech.
Oh, the laws of gods and men speech.
Yes.
Season 4.
It's a turning point for him.
It's incredible.
Just raw emotion
He's calling out the hypocrisy
of everyone.
of the entire system.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal moment.
It's a tour de force of acting.
Yeah, and even though the source acknowledges that, some people felt like Tyrion's character maybe.
Went in a different direction.
Yeah, later in the show.
Yeah.
In those early seasons.
Cemented his place as a legend.
Yeah.
His performance is just unforgettable.
Okay, so we've reached number 1,
The top spot.
the top spot, and it goes to
Tywin
Tywin Lannister,
the patriarch.
played by
Charles Dance.
Charles Dance.
What a presence.
What a presence.
Commanding.
Yeah, I mean the source emphasizes that voice, that deep.
Authoritative.
Yeah,
You just listen when he speaks.
yeah, you can't help but pay attention.
And his dialogue,
So well written.
it's articulate.
Yeah, it's precise.
There's no room for misinterpretation.
Yeah, he says what he means.
And he means what he says.
But it's not just the words. It's his nonverbal acting.
That stare.
That cold, unblinking stare.
It can sound heroic.
Yeah, you could feel the power.
It's intimidating.
Yeah, he could intimidate anyone
With just a look.
with just a look.
He embodied ruthlessness
Yeah,
and unwavering focus.
and that's what made him such a great antagonist.
Forced to reckon.
Yeah, and it's interesting because he believes that everything he does,
Is for his family,
yeah, for the Lannister legacy.
but his relationships with his children.
So complicated.
Yeah, they're strained.
Yeah, he's
He manipulates them.
yeah, he sees them as
Pawns.
pawns in his game.
Yeah, and Charles Dance really portrays that complexity.
Yeah, that inner conflict. Yeah, so a truly commanding performance.
One that will be remembered.
Yeah, for years to come.
Absolutely.
Okay, so there you have it.
Our top 10.
The top 10 Game of Thrones performances.
According to this source,
According to this source.
which is really interesting.
Yeah, it was a really interesting perspective.
I think it highlighted the
Yeah,
human
the fact that it wasn't just about,
dragons and battles.
yeah,
It was about these characters.
yeah,
Their struggle,
internal struggle.
the human heart in conflict with itself,
Yes,
as Faulkner said.
exactly.
And these performances really brought that to life.
Yeah, they made those characters real and relatable.
Even the villains.
Yeah, even the villains.
You understood their motivation.
You understood where they were coming from.
Yeah, even if you didn't agree with their actions.
Yeah, so I think that's what made Game of Thrones so captivating.
It was the humanity at the core of it.
Yeah,
Even when the narrative maybe went in directions
yeah,
that people didn't love,
yeah.
these performances remained powerful.
And memorable.
And they've had a lasting impact.
Yeah, on TV and culture.
Absolutely.
So now I want to turn it over to you, our listeners. Which of these performances resonated most with you,
Yeah, which one really stood out?
and why?
Was it about that performance that captured your attention?
Yeah, was it the character?
The actors' choices?
Yeah,
The way they conveyed emotion?
yeah. Or were there any performances that you felt deserved recognition?
Yeah, for portraying that human element
That human heart in conflict.
in such a powerful way.
Yeah, let us know in the comments.
We'd love to hear your thoughts
We'll be back
with another deep dive.
into something fascinating.
So until then,
Stay curious.
keep exploring.
We'll see you on the next episode. Okay, so you know how sometimes you just want to get right to the stuff, like you want to understand something complex,
Right.
but you don't have like hours to spend reading.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we're going for today. We're taking a deep dive into something that you requested. 10 most unpredictable fantasy shows. We got an article about it, and we're gonna kind of unpack like what makes a show unpredictable.
Interesting.
What are the elements? What are the tricks of the trade?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you know, it's interesting when you talk about unpredictability in shows because
Right.
it's not just about shock value,
Right.
right? It's not about just like throwing in a bunch of random twists.
Yeah, you want it to feel cheap, like it came in.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It has to feel earned. Like when you look back, you're like, oh yeah, that actually makes sense.
it's like it was all part of the plan.
Exactly. Like the clues were there all along.
Right. Right.
Exactly. It's like a magician. You know, they're not just randomly doing things.
Yeah.
There's a method to that.
There's a setup and a payoff. Right.
Exactly.
Okay, so the article we're looking at has like a top 10 list, and we're gonna start at number 10 and work our way up to number 1.
Sounds good.
And the shows on the list, just to give everyone a heads up, are The Vampire Diaries,
Okay.
Once Upon a Time,
Okay.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer,
Gotcha.
Lucifer,
characters?
Behind Her Eyes,
Okay.
The Good Place,
忘れてた
Supernatural Attack on Titan,
途中で
House of the Dragon,
Right.
and last but not least, Game of Thrones.
Of course.
So we got a pretty good mix of shows here.
Yeah, absolutely. Like a wide range of fantasy kind of subgenres within that.
Exactly.
So it'd be interesting to see how the show kind of tackled the idea of unpredictability.
Okay, so let's start with The Vampire Diaries. And I remember when that show came out,
Uh-huh.
it felt like maybe it was trying to capitalize on like that whole keen vampire craze that was happening.
Oh, totally. I mean, it was definitely riding that wave a little bit.
Right. And a lot of people were probably like, oh, this is just gonna be another, you know, Twilight.
Yeah, another love triangle with fangs.
Exactly. But the thing is, it actually lasted for 8 seasons.
I know, that's what surprised me too. It really defied expectations in that sense.
So right off the bat, it kind of subverted the expectation that it was just going to be like a quick cash grab.
Right. It actually developed into something much more substantial.
Yeah, it built out this whole mythology and a really intricate world.
Exactly. And the article talks about how the show used these bombshell revelations to keep people guessing.
Right, I remember that. Like things would happen and you'd be like, wait, what?
Exactly. But the thing is, they weren't just like random shock moments. They were really well integrated into the story.
Right, they actually made sense in the context of the show's lore.
Exactly. And they often forced you to rethink everything you thought you knew about the characters and their backstories.
Yeah, like those reveals would kind of recontextualize everything that came before it.
Right. So it wasn't just about the surprise in the moment, but also the way it made you look at the past.
Right, that's a really good point. Okay, so moving on to number 9, we have Once Upon a Time. And that show has this really interesting premise of taking all these fairy tale characters that we know and love
Right.
and kind of reimagining them in this modern setting.
Yeah, it's like fairy tales meet like a small town in Maine or something.
Exactly. And I feel like going into it, you might
That's a
expect
big
it to
yes.
be pretty light.
Like you're thinking Snow White and Prince Charming. How dark can it get?
Right. But the article makes a point of saying that this show was absolutely not for kids.
Yeah, it definitely went to some pretty dark places and explored some mature themes.
Yeah, like they weren't afraid to mess with those classic stories and give them a message.
And that's where the unpredictability came in. You think you know these characters, but the show constantly subverted those expectations.
Right, like you think you know the story of Snow White, but then they're like, oh yeah, but here's this whole other backstory.
Exactly. And her motivations are way more complicated than we thought.
Yeah, and it's not just that they made the fairy tale characters darker,
Right.
but the way they connected those past scene in the present,
Uh-huh.
and suddenly it would tie back to something that happened years ago.
Exactly. And that's what made it so unpredictable.
Yeah,
Constantly trying to figure out how those two worlds were intertwined.
right. You never knew what kind of twist was coming next.
Okay, so at number 8 we have Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Now on the surface, it's about
Pretty straightforward premise.
right. But this show has had such a lasting impact.
It's true. It's become this pop culture phenomenon.
And there are still debates about like
Oh.
certain plot points and character motivations.
Oh yeah, people are still arguing about the angel. Exactly. So clearly it did something right in terms of keeping people engaged.
For sure. And the article talks about how Buffy managed to deliver this really surprising depth and emotional complexity.
Yeah, like you wouldn't necessarily expect that from a vampire slayer.
Supernatural is a metaphor.
Like growing up, dealing with responsibility and all that.
Exactly. And that allowed the show to explore some really complex
And on top of that, there was this series of crazy plot twists.
Oh yeah, I remember some of those deaths and betrayals were shocking.
The article says they were very hard to anticipate.
That's because the show was willing to take risks with its characters.
Yeah, like no one felt safe.
Exactly, which created this constant sense of tension.
You never knew who was going to fight the dozen next.
And sometimes the unpredictability came from the way the show left things open to interpretation.
Right, like those ambiguous revelations that the article mentioned.
Exactly, but didn't always spell everything out for you,
Yeah, that leave you with these lingering questions.
which kept you thinking about the show long after it was over.
Right, it's like the mystery keeps you. Okay, number number 7, we have Lucifer.
Oh yeah, this one sounds good.
Right. So the premise of the show is like basically the devil gets bored with poop, moves to LA, runs a nightclub,
Okay.
and starts helping the LA.
So it's like a crime procedural with the devil.
Exactly. And then
Right, like you never know what kind of crazy situation he's gonna get himself into.
And the article says that the show has no problem blindsiding its viewers on a regular basis.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Pull that off like within the framework of the procedural.
You were really good at playing the expectations of both genres.
Right, so you have the crime solving element, which has its own set of tropes and conventions.
Exactly. Like watching a regular detective show.
But then they throw in these supernatural twists.
Right. Like maybe the killer's a demon, or Lucifer uses his powers to get a confession.
Or maybe it seems magic at first, but then it turns out there's a perfectly rational
Exactly. So they kept you guessing, but constantly blurring the lines
criminally underrated. So I'm kind of intrigued. It starts off as this pretty standard love triangle.
Okay, so like a relationship drama kind of thing.
Yeah, but then it takes this really unexpected turn into the realm of the supernatural.
So how does that happen?
Well, it starts out with this single mom who gets involved with her married boss.
Okay, classic love triangle setup.
Right, but then we start to learn that there's more going on than meets the eye. Well, the mom, she starts exhibiting these psychic abilities.
Oh, hold on, psychic abilities.
Yeah, and then it turns out there are all these like secret conspiracies and dangerous forces at play.
Okay, so it goes from like a love triangle to like a supernatural.
Exactly. That's what makes it so unpredictable.
Yeah, you go in expecting one thing and then it totally switches gears on you.
Right, and the article says that even though the show might not be like super flashy or anything, it's that blend of mystery and paranormal that makes it so hard to predict. You're trying to figure things out based on the tropes.
But then there's a out the window when you introduce psychic powers.
Okay, we're getting into the top 5 now. At number 5, we have The Good Place.
Oh, I love The Good Place.
So the show starts out with this really lighthearted premise of what happens after we die.
You go to the good place and the bad place based on action.
Exactly. And it's all very colorful and quirky, and you think you know what you're getting. And the show hits you with one of the most mind-blowing plot twists in history.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
It completely changed the entire show.
Like it made you question everything you've seen up to that point.
It wasn't just a small twist, it was like a fundamental shift in the entire narrative. And the crazy thing is, the show continued to be unpredictable.
Let's just wonder.
Finding ways to surprise us, new revelations, unexpected turns.
And the article talks about the show's intricate narrative.
Yeah, it was like a puzzle box where every episode revealed more.
And you were constantly trying to figure out what was really going on.
Right, trying to piece together the truth about the good place and the characters' fates.
Exactly. And all of that contributed to the sense of unpredictability that kept you hooked. So just outside the top 3 at number 4, we have Supernatural.
15 seasons.
Yeah, you'd think at some point it would become predictable.
Right, like how many different ways can you fight a vampire?
But the article argues that Supernatural actually managed to stay pretty unpredictable throughout its run.
And it did that by going in some really wild directions.
Yeah, like it wasn't afraid to experiment with different genres and tones.
Exactly. One week it would be a horror episode, the next week it would be a comedy.
And then there was that musical episode.
Oh my gosh, musical episode. I forgot about that.
Yeah, that was a real curveball.
Like, who expects a musical episode from a show about hunting demons?
Right. And the article really emphasizes that refusal to any one genre as a key part of what keeps Supernatural fresh and unpredictable.
It makes sense because it keeps you guessing as a viewer.
Right. You never know what kind of story you're gonna get.
It's like a box of chocolates.
fatto lui tutto odio la criticano.
Ma 40 di tutti i
Number
serpenti.
3, we have
Ma
the
io criticano molto
Non
fatto
li dichiarano.
la Marco la
Fare di professionali.
Quando parlo solo della molto i conti della
Themselves from
Andava
these
tutta
terrifying
droga.
human creatures called
Magari qui io dico la
Non parlo neanche se ne vale che parte tutto che rimane. Dopo ci ma ci deve io la non voglio.
the big part of it is the way the show constantly subverts our understanding.
I think we know what they
No
are.
parliamo solo Europe nella legge, non che nella legge o per la mani.
Titans with their
Non devo se la vedere.
Behind their existence that we don't know about.
and that's what makes it so amazing. The world are constantly being rewritten.
Right. And every time you think you've figured things out,
Uh-huh.
the show pulls the rug out from under you.
And introduces a new twist or a new revelation that changes everything.
Yeah, and it keeps you constantly engaged because you're always trying to piece together the puzzle.
Right? You're trying to figure out the truth about the Titans and the world they live in.
Exactly. Okay, so at number 2, we have House of the Dragon.
A prequel to Game of Thrones.
Yeah, and we all know how Game of Thrones was famous for its shocking twists and turns.
Oh yeah, that show was a masterclass in unpredictability.
So going into House of the Dragon, you're already kind of expecting a certain level of chaos.
Right, like you know, things are gonna be messy.
And the article confirms that House of the Dragon definitely delivers on that.
It takes place in this world that is
او جميع ما عندنا first page in
And the show doesn't shy away from depicting it.
طول شركات
there's
لا
plenty of
بغير
violence and betrayal.
دخل ينام من
And even though we know some of the history from Game of Thrones,
Right, we know how things eventually play out.
prequel still manages to keep us guessing about who will survive and how the Targaryen dynasty.
The article points out that it does this without just relying on random shock value.
Right, it's not just violence for the sake of violence.
Yes, exactly. The unpredictability stems from the characters' motivations and the complex web of relationships and political ambitions.
Yeah, like the shocking events feel like they're a natural consequence of the world and the people who inhabit it.
Right, it's not just about throwing in random twists for the sake of it.
Exactly. And finally, we've reached number 1, the show that the article crowns as the most unpredictable fantasy show of all time.
Drum roll, please.
Game of Thrones. This show really did change the game when it came to fantasy television. Yeah, it wasn't afraid to kill off major characters even in the first season.
I remember that first season. Punch in the face.
Right. And it wasn't just the deaths, it was the way the show constantly subverted your expectations.
Yeah, you never knew who to trust or what was going to happen next.
The article talks about how Game of Thrones had this incredible sense of scope and scale with its multiple intersecting stories.
So many characters and factions all vying for power.
And that made it incredibly difficult to predict where the story was going.
Because any character could rise to prominence or fall from grace at any moment.
Right, and alliances could shift, and betrayals could happen, and the whole game board could get flipped upside down.
Characteristic.
Viewers on the edge of their seats because the stories felt so
For sure. You never know what's coming.
So I should not miss listen to end shows.
Yeah.
It sounds like there are a few key elements that contribute to making such a show.
Definitely. Like, first and foremost, you need a willingness to subvert expectations.
Right, you can't just rely on the same old tropes and cliches.
Exactly. And you need to craft plot twists that feel earned, like they make sense in the context of the story.
Right, the twists can't just come out of nowhere.
Yeah, they need to be set up properly.
And you also need a willingness to defy genre
اليوم صار خبرهم لازم ربما ما تجي ولا بس يا كان فاضل كان
experiment and mix things up.
يوم خبرها بيجي كل ما بقارئ في
And
برنامج
finally, you need to create a world and a set of characters where the stakes feel real.
Yeah, the audience needs to care about
شو جا خلونا ما له بشيء كان أقولني
Otherwise, the twists
بيبغى صور بيخي ولا تسيب بشيء بيبغى صوران شو ما كان
you,
أقولي
the listener, who loves those aha moments and getting to the heart of complex things.
shows offer a really fascinating glimpse into our unpredictable storytelling.
It's not just about entertainment.
Right.
It's about exploring the unexpected and challenging your assumptions.
Which brings us to our final
ما
thought.
هو ده وكان ده ما بيجي جوكري في مكان
What is the true
فيقول
value
بيزاك بس
of ability in storytelling?
That's a good question.
Is it just about serve a deeper purpose?
Right, like does it reflect something about the chaotic nature of life itself?
Exactly. And after our deep dive today, which of these shows are you most curious to explore?
Yeah, maybe you'll find your new favorite afternoon fantasy show.
Thanks for joining us.
As always, it's been a pleasure.
Until next time, keep those brains buzzing.
And embrace the unexpected.
We'll see you on the flip side.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
You know the drill. You send us the sources, and we're diving in deep to pull out all the interesting stuff.
That's right. Hopefully something that'll spark some great conversations.
Yeah, exactly. And this one, I think definitely fits the bill. We're looking at a ranking of the 10 greatest Best Picture winners of the last 25 years.
Oh,
Yeah, so we're talking films from 2000 all the way up to 2024.
okay, so a good chunk of time there.
Exactly. And you know, it's interesting looking at this list because
Za lui
we have
che
these huge
figliolo maneja,
blockbuster films.
quella delle
And that's
quella
really
quella
powerful.
ha be sì.
Right,
Ah,
showing
that's
how there's
Java.
no one formula for what makes a best
Au
picture.
certo delle
Yeah,
ha
and that's exactly what we're going to try to figure out today. Like, what did this source see in these films? What made them stand out?
Yeah, and maybe get you thinking about what you consider the best
Let's jump right in with number 10, the most recent winner, actually, of 2024.
Okay, so a film that's still fresh in our minds. I'm curious what makes it already one of the greatest.
Yeah, the source mentions its Palme d'Or win, which is, nothing to sneeze at.
Definitely not.
But it also says there was a somewhat controversial reaction to its Best Picture win.
Interesting. So, right out of the gate, we've got some debate.
Yeah, makes you wonder, is there some recency bias at play here?
Could be. It's hard to say, but the source does point out this really interesting thing about Anora's genre,
Oh, yeah.
how it kind of shifts throughout the film. It starts almost like a modern fairy tale. It even draws a comparison to Pretty Woman.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then it veers into thriller territory. Then there's some comedy thrown in, and ultimately it lands as a character drama.
Wow. So it's really all over the place, Tony.
Yeah, and you can see how that would be divisive for some people, even while others find it really innovative.
Right. For some, it might feel disjointed, but for others, it might be this really exciting, unpredictable ride.
Exactly, and the source seems to fall into the latter camp. They praise the writing Sean Baker's direction, and especially Mikey Madison's performance, calling her Oscar win very well deserved.
So even with the controversy surrounding its win, there's clearly something special about this film.
It definitely raises that question, though, how much time needs to pass before we can truly judge a film's greatness?
Yeah, that's a great point. Okay, moving on to number 9. We've got a film that feels like a true classic of the early 2000s. Gladiator from the year 2000.
Yes, a historical epic, a genre that doesn't get quite as much love these days.
Right, it's like we're almost nostalgic for the time when these big sweeping films dominated the Oscars.
Yeah, you don't see that kind of scale and ambition as often anymore.
And the source really highlights that Gladiator is an essential action movie of the 2000s. They even mentioned the show-stopping action set pieces and just crazy production qualities.
Oh yeah, those Coliseum scenes are iconic. I mean, visually, they were just stunning.
Yeah, but what I think is interesting is that those big spectacle moments were also paired with some truly phenomenal performances.
Absolutely, the source calls out Joaquin Phoenix's Oscar-nominated role, and of course Russell Crowe's winning performance.
And let's not forget Ridley Scott's direction. He really brought that world to life.
He did, and that combination of visual spectacle and compelling characters, that's what creates something truly lasting.
Right, and the source points to Gladiator's enduring entertainment value.
Yeah, it's a film that people keep coming back to even all these years later.
Okay, switching gears completely. Number 8, we have Moonlight from 2016.
Oh wow, a film that's become almost synonymous with that Best Picture recent.
Right, and the source makes a point of saying that it's far, far more than just that fiasco.
Yeah, that moment definitely overshadowed what was a truly historic film.
Absolutely. The source emphasizes that it was the first LGBTQ plus film with an all-black cast to win Best Picture.
And a huge win for A24 as well.
Yeah, a really significant moment in film history.
Definitely. And beyond that historical importance, the source describes Moonlight as this gorgeous coming-of-age film, and they really emphasize that beauty on multiple levels, visually, narratively, and even through its score.
I love how they call out the score because it is so evocative. It really adds another layer to the film's emotional impact.
It does. And speaking of emotional impact, what really strikes me about Moonlight and what the source touches on is its incredible tenderness and relatability.
Yeah, you really connect with the characters on this deep human level, regardless of your background.
Right. And the source points out that it avoids what they call trauma porn tropes, which is a crucial distinction.
It's not about exploiting the character's pain, it's about showing their strength and vulnerability in a really authentic way.
Exactly. And the source even mentions the satisfaction of seeing a smaller film like this take home the top prize. It's a reminder that impact doesn't always come from a massive budget.
Yeah, sometimes the quietest stories are the ones that stay with you. Okay, moving on to number 7, we have Birdman, or Expected for Tomorrow, 2014.
Oh, Birdman, a film that earned Alejandro Gonzalez Iñárritu a pretty rare triple win.
Yeah, Best Director, Original Screenplay, and Best Picture.
Yeah,
It's not an easy feat.
definitely not. It speaks to a really unique vision. Source highlights Michael Keaton's performance, calling it masterful and awesome.
Really biting meta commentary on the entertainment industry.
Right, that was so key to the film's success. It's about an actor famous for playing a superhero, and it's constantly blurring those lines between reality and fiction.
And the way it was shot to look like one continuous take just amplified that sense of unease and artistic desperation.
It really did. You felt like you were trapped in the protagonist's headspace as it was all kind of falling apart.
And the source calls it gleefully experimental and playful.
Вчера ще бачив,
Also
що
acknowledges
на
this
полтора
undercurrent of darkness.
It's a film that manages to be both funny and unsettling at the same time.
And you know, it's fascinating that the source positions Birdman as one of the best comedies to win Best Picture.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they praise the ensemble cast and that really daring camera work really pushed the to win a Best Picture.
It definitely wasn't your typical Oscar bait.
No, it wasn't all right. At number 6, we encounter a film with a much more serious and historically important topic. 12 Years, a Slave from 2013.
And a film that the source calls gut-wrenching yet vitally important, with impossible to overstate historical relevance.
Yeah, and the fact that it's based on a true story from the antebellum South gives it that much more power.
Absolutely. It's a particularly significant winner in the biopic category because it's shining a light on this really dark period in American history.
Right, and the source points out that it actually won fewer Oscars overall than some of the other films on this
That's
list.
interesting.
But they emphasize that the wins it did get adapted
Dik
screenplays.
der kana, yok
And
ama.
Lupita Nyong'o's incredible performance were absolutely exactly. And the source talks about the beautiful filmmaking, even though the subject matter is so brutal, and those performances are just stunning beyond words.
It's a film that really stays with you long after you've seen it.
Okay, coming in at number 5, we have a groundbreaking win, Parasite from 2019.
Ah, yes, the first non-English language film to win Best Picture. A real game changer.
It was a huge moment for international cinema, and the source highlights that it came from Bong Joon-ho, a director they consider a major figure in South Korean filmmaking.
And potentially his magnum opus.
Yeah, they even mentioned that it had already won the Palme d'Or at Cannes, so it had this critical momentum going into the Oscars.
It did, and the source describes Parasite's social commentary as pretty direct, maybe even not subtle, but very effective.
Right, it tackles issues of economic inequality and power structures head on.
And what's so brilliant about Parasite is how Bong Joon-ho uses genre to deliver that commentary. It blends dark comedy, thriller, and even horror in this really masterful way.
You're constantly on edge because you don't know what's coming next.
Yeah, and that feeling mirrors the unstable power dynamics that the film is exploring.
The source even calls out the clever symbolism and the central relationship between the Kim and Park families, which really drives home that commentary on class.
It's a film that's both wildly entertaining and thought-provoking. A really rare combination.
Right, moving on to number 4, a film that really embraces that multifaceted nature. Everything Everywhere All at Once from 2022.
What a film, adventurous, humorous, philosophical, and entertaining all at the same time.
Yeah, the source describes it as one of the most unpredictable comedy movies ever made. And you know what? I don't think they're wrong.
The synopsis alone is just mind-blowing. Existentialism, martial arts, generational conflict, immigration, taxes, laundry, everything, bagels, you name it.
It sounds like it shouldn't work, but it does.
Yeah, and the directing duo, Daniel Kwan and Daniel Shiner, they somehow managed to pull it all together.
The source talks about how they took this seemingly chaotic mix of elements and wove it into something truly special.
Right, with real heart and emotional depth, all within this framework of existential dread and absurdist humor.
And it's worth noting that they won Best Directing, making them only the third duo to do so.
Yeah, a testament to their incredible skill as filmmakers.
The source sums it up as fun, funny, moving, and thought-provoking.
Couldn't have said it better myself, alright. Moving into the top three, starting with Oppenheimer, 2023.
Another recent winner that really dominated the Oscars, tying the previous year's total number of awards.
Wow, and the source even suggests it might be Christopher Nolan's best work, yet a real culmination of his style.
Yeah, it was a massive production. And those visuals were just breathtaking.
Oh yeah, Nolan is known for his visual storytelling, but this one really took it to another level.
The source makes sure to point out that Oppenheimer isn't just about spectacle. It also has this emotional and thematic depth.
Right, the writing is incredibly strong, and the film really delves into the psychological and ethical weight of its subject matter.
It's a counter-argument to the idea that they don't make them like they used to.
Exactly, it's a film that's ambitious, intellectually engaging, and still manages to resonate with a wide audience.
Coming in at number 2, we have No Country for Old Men, 2007.
Now, this is an interesting choice, especially considering that westerns and neo-noirs weren't exactly the hottest genres at the time.
Right. The source even says they were considered dead, but then leaves it to the Coen brothers to breathe new life into them.
They always have a knack for taking these seemingly outdated genres and making them feel fresh and relevant.
And often with their signature dark humor.
Absolutely. And the source describes No Country for Old Men as exploring the dangers of progress through the lens of these classic genres.
It's a unique way to frame it, and they also call it a unique, darkly humorous, irresistibly enthralling dramedy thriller.
Quite a mouthful, but I think it's pretty accurate.
Yeah, it's not your typical Oscar frontrunner, but it clearly struck a chord with the Academy.
And the source really praises the Coen's writing and directing, the visuals, the editing, and especially Javier Bardem's performance as Anton Chigurh.
Oh yeah, he won the Oscar for that role, and for good reason. That character was terrifying.
It's a testament to how strong storytelling and execution can elevate any genre.
And finally, at number 1, the film that this source deems the greatest Best Picture winner of the last 25 years, The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
The Return of the King from 2003.
A truly epic conclusion to an epic trilogy.
Yeah, the source actually starts by reminding us of Peter Jackson's background in cult horror, which makes the scale and success of this adaptation even more impressive.
Right, it's not exactly the kind of resume you'd expect for someone tackling such a massive fantasy project.
And they call it the culmination of the greatest fantasy trilogy in the history of cinema, and one of the greatest films ever made.
High praise indeed.
And then they go on to say that it's virtually faultless, and despite its runtime, immensely entertaining.
It's a film that just completely immerses you in its world.
Yeah, and the source highlights the unparalleled production design, the world building, the cast. Everything is just top notch.
And of course, it tied the record for most Oscar wins, Titanic and Ben-Hur.
It's a cinematic event that really captivated audiences worldwide.
So there you have it, a deep dive into one source's ranking of the top 10 Best Picture winners of the last 25 years.
And what's really striking is the sheer variety of films represented, from smaller character-driven pieces to these massive epics,
It just shows how many different ways there are to make a great film.
and how those ideas about what makes a film great can change over time.
Right, there's no one formula for success.
And that brings us to our final thought for you, considering this list and everything we've talked about. What aspects of filmmaking do you value most when you're thinking about what makes a Best Picture winner?
Yeah, what are your criteria? What films would be on your top 10 list?
We encourage you to think about the films that have really stayed with you and why they hold such a special place in your heart.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. See you next time.
Alright, if you're listening to this, you're probably as hyped as I am for Elysium's Edge, and you want to know more before it comes out.
It's definitely got everyone talking.
So we're going way beyond those trailers and clips.
Taking a deep dive into the production notes and interviews you provided to really get a feel of it.
I love this kind of stuff. It gives you so much more than just your average review,
Oh yeah, for sure. We're talking insights into the creative process and the themes.
and maybe even a few hints about what to expect.
Yeah, exactly. So are you ready to dive in?
Absolutely, let's do this. So, first things first, Ava Sinclair, the director.
She's no stranger to sci-fi that makes you think.
The Last Horizon, right, that was her film.
Exactly. It explored how technology impacts us emotionally. And it sounds like Elysium's Edge is going to push that even further.
I've heard she's using this dystopian world to ask some really really big
Ah.
questions
Na
about
adam ila kasi
what it
Doğru.
means to be
Doğru.
human
Doğru.
in the age of
Dole
AI.
procurate
That's right. The source
quella
material
Così l'hanno
dives
fatto,
into the
così
concept
l'hanno
of
fatto.
free will
Dole
in
işte
a
tam da
really
go
unique
galo
way.
ci taralla
Instead of
da
the usual
sai
robot uprising.
It's more about how AI could subtly manipulate our choices through things like algorithms.
That's a little unsettling, isn't it? I mean, we're already surrounded by algorithms everywhere.
Makes you wonder if we're really in control of our own decisions in a tech-driven world.
It really does, and it sounds like this theme is woven into the world of the film itself.
Absolutely. And in your notes, you mentioned you were fascinated by AI ethics.
I am.
Well, it seems like James Carter's character, the AI architect, is right at the heart of that ethical dilemma.
He's the one who created the system that governs this society,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly. And the sources hint at some serious moral complexities surrounding his creation.
Maybe he's dealing with the unintended consequences of his technology.
Exactly. It doesn't sound like a simple good versus evil situation.
That's much more interesting.
It seems like the film explores the gray areas of AI development.
And its impact on humans.
Yes, and that brings us to Mia Chen's character, Alara.
It sounds like she's fighting this AI,
She's a beacon of hope in the sustainable future
trying to reclaim her own agency,
and uncover the truth behind the AI's facade.
which totally ties into your own interest in uncovering hidden societal structures, right?
Oh, absolutely. Her journey seems to be about reclaiming individual control in a world designed to control us, which I think resonates with a lot of people these days.
Totally. But is Alara going up against this AI architect directly? Or is it more like a system she's fighting?
That's a great question, and the source material doesn't give us all the answers. But it does suggest that AI is this pervasive force in this world, something that's woven into every aspect of life.
Wow, that's kind of chilling.
It is, and you also mentioned how much you love immersive worlds.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the production design for Elysium's Edge
Bara
sounds
mo pa rin
incredible,
It
nakakaliwa.
does. And it seems like
Sige,
they're going for something that's both familiar and unsettling.
like a distorted reflection of our own.
Exactly.
Mga
The
wala
production
na
design.
Yes, he seems to have really gone all out.
Blending futuristic architecture with these elements that feel almost recognizable.
You mentioned being a fan of immersive soundscapes too.
Huge fan.
Well, the source material suggests the sound design in this film is phenomenal.
I can't wait to hear it.
It sounds like they've really pushed the boundaries. They've blended organic and synthetic sounds to reflect that central conflict we were talking about.
And it uses technology.
Right, which really adds another layer to the viewing experience.
I have to admit, I'm getting pretty excited.
Me too. It's shaping up to be pretty special.
It sounds like it's going to be this visual and auditory feast.
It does.
But what I'm most interested in is that they're using all this amazing technology to tell a story that really matters. A story that explores the biggest questions that we face in life.
I agree, and it seems like they're doing it with a lot of intelligence and nuance.
It's not just about wowing us with special
It's
effects.
about making us think. Definitely, and that's what makes it so compelling.
So, are you ready to dig a little deeper into the story?
Absolutely, let's unpack it.
Okay, so we have this AI architect who's created a
Wala
world
na, walwal ka ka na,
of
wale.
human choices.
And then we have Alara, who's trying to break free from that control.
It sounds like there's some serious conflict brewing there.
Oh, there is, and we need to look at the writers who brought this story to life.
The screenplay
Riha, lekina ka, riha.
It was Ava Sinclair worked with Leo Thompson on this one.
Wow, Leo Thompson.
Kaya tamo
He's
tama
known
subira
for
bigis
those
sila jawab
mind-bending
maragaw
narratives.
mala.
He is. He's not afraid to tackle those complex moral questions. And
Tapos sinakalim no.
And that's exactly what this film seems to be doing.
it is, and it sounds like they've created a world that's both fascinating and disturbing.
Like that funhouse mirror we were talking about.
Precisely, and it seems like the actors, Chen and James Carter, really bring those complexities to life on screen.
Let's talk about the AI architect for a second. Do we get to
Tapos bakit turbo bandulun sila sa chat. Daga wakti bida shuwe.
His creation.
like
Wala,
human
sila
nations of the
sila
human
rin.
Exactly, and it adds another layer to the
Mga
whole conflict. You have Alara fighting for individual freedom, and then you have this AI architect grappling with the moral burden of what he's built.
It's not as black and white as it might seem on the surface.
Not at all. And remember how you mentioned being skeptical about AI
Ang luman,
sentient?
halasugdi.
I was.
Well,
Nabay yan,
essentially,
ha?
directly
Haka
addresses
na.
that.
By exploring AI consciousness in a new way,
Exactly. It goes beyond the usual robots taking over trope.
and asks what happens when AI becomes so advanced that it's indistinguishable from human consciousness.
And and what that means for the future of humanity.
Wow, that's a pretty heady territory.
It is, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. We haven't even touched on the visual spectacle of this film yet.
Let's talk about that. I'm dying to know how they brought this world to life.
Well, Ava Sinclair teamed up with Marco Reyes for that. He's the cinematographer.
He's known for his unique visual style.
He is, and it sounds like he really pushed the boundaries with this film.
I bet he had a blast working with all that cutting-edge technology we mentioned earlier.
He did. He's known for using light and shadow and composition to create really powerful emotions. And from what I've read, he's really outdone himself with Elysium's Edge.
It's fascinating how they've blended those technical aspects with the deeper themes.
It is. It's like they're using the visuals to create this immersive experience that goes beyond just entertainment.
It's more like art.
Exactly. They want to create something that stays with you long after you leave the theater.
I could see that, and I think the story itself has a lot to do with that as well.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I'm curious about Alara's journey. Does she manage to break free from the AI's control?
Ah, that's the big question, isn't it?
It is, and the source material is keeping that pretty close to the vest,
But it does emphasize that her journey is one of self-discovery.
where she learns to embrace her own humanity, even in the face of all this overwhelming technology.
Yes, and it sounds like she's not alone in that struggle.
There are others who are questioning the system.
There's this underground resistance movement that's trying to disrupt the AI's control.
And it sounds like Alara might become a key figure in that movement.
She might.
Okay, so we've got this amazing visual spectacle, a really compelling narrative, and characters who wrestle with incredibly complex issues. What about the music? You know how much I love it.
Oh, you're in for a treat.
Tell me more.
The composer is Ethan Brooks. He's known for creating a haunting and atmospheric
And I bet the music really amplifies the emotional impact of those keys.
Absolutely. And he worked closely with the sound designer, Claire and Guyan, to create this seamless blend of music and sound effects that enhances the storytelling in a really subtle but powerful way.
This whole discussion is making me realize how much detail and thought goes into every aspect of filmmaking.
It's
It really is like a giant symphony with all these different elements working together in harmony to create something truly special.
And from what we've gathered so far, it seems like Ava Sinclair has assembled an amazing team to bring her vision for Elysium's Edge to life.
And now I'm dying to know more about the editing process because that can really make or break a film.
Especially one with such complex themes and
Well,
visuals,
the editor for this film is Sarah Kim.
right? She is.
I've heard she's known for her subtle touch.
She is. And her ability to weave together complex narratives.
Her work on Echoes of the Past is phenomenal.
Oh, yeah, she was a perfect choice for a film like this.
It must have been quite a challenge to balance those stunning visuals with the emotional core of the story.
It was, and the source material suggests that she worked very closely with Ava Sinclair to make sure that every cut and every transition served the story and the characters.
It sounds like they had a really strong partnership.
They did.
Speaking of partnerships, we haven't really talked about the actors' performances in detail yet. What can you tell me about Mia Chen and James Carter?
Well, from what I've gathered, Mia Chen delivers a truly breakout performance as Alara. She captures both the strength and the vulnerability of a woman fighting for her freedom.
And the sources rave about her chemistry with James Carter.
Oh, they do. They say it's electric.
That's great. You know, in my notes, I mentioned how much I appreciate actors who can convey so much with just a look or a gesture.
You and me both.
It sounds like Mia Chen is that kind of actress.
It seems so. The source material really highlights her ability to communicate a range of emotions with subtle expressions.
And what about James Carter?
He's a veteran actor,
He is.
known for playing these really complex, nuanced characters.
And he brings that depth to the AI architect.
He does. They both bring a certain gravitas to them.
So to recap, we have this visionary director, a talented cast, breathtaking visuals, a haunting score, a thought-provoking script, and a skilled editor.
It sounds like Elysium's Edge has all the ingredients for a truly unforgettable cinematic experience.
It does, doesn't it?
It seems like they've managed to achieve that rare balance of entertainment and substance.
A film that will stay with you long after the credits roll.
Exactly.
It's amazing to think about the journey this film has taken, from the initial concept to the final cut, all the creativity, passion, and hard work that went into bringing it to life.
It's truly a testament to the power of storytelling and how film can be used to explore those big questions about humanity and our future.
Well, after this deep dive, Elysium's Edge is at the top of my must-see list. A I'm so eager to experience this world they've created and to see how all these elements come together on the big screen.
Me too. I have a feeling this film is going to spark a lot of conversations and debates.
It is. It's one thing to read about a film, but it's another thing entirely to experience it firsthand, to be immersed in that world, to feel the emotions, to grapple with the questions it raises.
And that brings us back to the question we posed earlier. Is Elysium's Edge just a cautionary tale? Or is it a glimpse into our inevitable future?
I guess we'll each have to decide for ourselves after we've seen it.
We will, and that's what makes this film so compelling. It's not just entertainment, it's an invitation to think critically about the world we're creating.
Well said. I think we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
This deep dive has given me a whole new appreciation for Elysium's Edge. I can't wait to see it and to continue the conversation afterward. To all you listeners out there, get ready for a cinematic experience that will challenge your perceptions and stay with you long after the credits roll. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.
See you next time. Yeah, it really does seem inevitable.
So we were talking about Alara and the AI architect, and it sounds like there's some serious
Yeah, definitely. I mean, her whole journey is about breaking free from this control.
right, but is she actually going up against the AI architect? Or is it more like the system he created?
That's a good question. And honestly, the source material doesn't really spell it out for us.
It keeps us guessing.
It does, but what it does say is that AI is this pervasive force in their world.
So it's not just about one person, it's everywhere.
Yeah, it's integrated into every aspect of life. Kind of like how we have smartphones and the internet always around us.
I can see that it's like our world taken to the extreme.
Exactly, and it sounds like the filmmakers really went all out in creating this world.
We were talking about the visuals earlier, and you mentioned that they were pretty amazing.
Oh yeah, the production design sounds phenomenal. They've really blended the familiar with the futuristic.
The production designer is Leo Martinez, right?
Yep, he's worked on some really visually stunning films in the past, and it seems like he's really outdone himself with this one.
I can't wait to see it. I mean, from what I've read, they've used some cutting-edge technology to create these incredible sets and effects.
And that's not all. I've also paid a lot of attention to the sound design, which is something you're really interested in.
Oh, absolutely. Sound can make or break a film for me.
Well, from what I've gathered, the sound design in Elysium's Edge is going to blow you away.
Really? How so?
Well, they've created this really immersive soundscape that blends organic and synthetic sounds.
So like natural sounds mixed with electronic stuff.
Exactly, and it seems like they've used this to really highlight the central conflict of the film.
The whole humanity versus technology thing.
Yep, which is really clever. It adds another layer to the whole experience.
It does, and it makes me think about those classic sci-fi films that really made you feel like you were in another world.
Blade Runner, Alien, those kinds of films.
Exactly, and it sounds like Elysium's Edge is going to be right up there with them.
It does, and what's even more impressive is that they're not just using all this amazing technology for spectacle.
They're using it to tell a story that actually matters.
يواش بيه
صبرك كان تكينا من نواش
Potre că mâine bă. Cinceava de la Ravandi.
Exactly, a story that makes you think about the world around you and the choices we're making.
That's what really excites me about this film. It's not just empty entertainment. It has something to say.
Yeah, it does, and it's saying it in a really creative and engaging way.
So let's talk about the story and see where do we leave off.
Well, we were talking about Ilara's fight for freedom.
Right, and the AI architect who seems to be wrestling with his own demons.
And the fact that AI is this all-pervasive force in their world,
It's like the air they breathe.
it is. And that brings us to the screenplay, which was written by Ava Sinclair and Leo Thompson.
Wow, Leo Thompson. He's written some of my favorite sci-fi films.
He's a master of the genre, isn't he?
He is, and he's known for his complex characters and thought-provoking themes.
Exactly. He's not afraid to tackle those big philosophical questions.
And from what I've read, he and Ava Sinclair have really outdone themselves with Elysium's Edge.
It seems like they've created a story that's both intellectually stimulating and emotionally resonant.
I love that because you can have the best visuals and sound design in the world, but if the story doesn't grab you, it's all for nothing.
Right, the story is the heart of it all.
And speaking of heart, I'm curious to learn more about the actors who brought these characters to life.
Mia Chen and James Carter.
Yes. What can you tell us about them?
Well, from what I've gathered, Mia Chen gives a truly breakout performance as Alara.
The sources really sing her praises.
They do. They say she brings this incredible depth and vulnerability to the role.
I love that because it's easy to fall into those stereotypical action hero tropes, especially in sci-fi.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But it sounds like Mia Chen is doing something really special with this character.
It does. She makes Alara feel real, relatable.
And what about James Carter?
Well, he's a veteran actor known for playing complex, often morally ambiguous characters.
And it sounds like the AI architect is no exception.
He's not. He's this brilliant but flawed figure who's struggling with the consequences of his creation.
Which makes him even more interesting, right?
Absolutely. And the sources say that the chemistry between Mia Chen and James Carter is electric.
Oh wow, so we've got these great performances, this amazing story, and this incredible world.
It's all coming together.
It is, and it makes me think about that question we posed earlier. Is this film just a cautionary tale? Or is it a glimpse into our inevitable future?
It's a question that's going to stay with me long after the credits roll, I think.
Me too. And that's the mark of a truly great film.
It is, and it seems like Elysium's Edge is going to be one of those films that sparks a lot of conversations and debates.
I can see that because it's tackling some really big issues.
It is, and it's doing it in a way that's both entertaining and thought-provoking.
So what's next? What other aspects of the film should we explore?
Well, we've talked about the story, the visuals, the sound, but we haven't really touched on the editing.
Which is so crucial. I mean, it can really make or break a film.
Especially one like this with so many layers.
And the editor for Elysium's Edge is Sarah Kim, right?
Yes, Sarah Kim, she's got a really impressive resume.
I love her work on Echoes of the Past. It was, and her editing was so subtle, you know, it really snuck up on you.
She's known for that, her ability to create these really seamless transitions.
And emotionally resonant cuts.
Exactly. She doesn't just cut for the sake of cutting. She's thinking about the emotional impact of every single frame.
It sounds like she was the perfect choice for a film like this.
She was, and the source material suggests that she worked very closely with Ava Sinclair throughout the process.
To make sure they were on the same page.
Exactly, that every cut served the story and the characters.
I love that because it shows a real respect for the material.
It does. It's not just about showing off flashy editing techniques. It's about serving the story.
And speaking of serving the story, we haven't really talked about the actors' performances.
And they're truly the heart and soul.
Mia Chen and James Carter.
They deliver some really powerful performances.
I've heard amazing
Allora,
things
non mi farò
about
canna,
Jen's portrayal of Alara.
Oh, she's
Fammi vedere i
fantastic.
video,
She
Carmi.
really captures the strength and vulnerability of this character.
And you know how much I love actors who
Ciao,
convey so much with just a look or a gesture.
You do. You've mentioned that before.
Ho
It
salvato il
sounds like
sacco,
Mia
parte
Chen is
tutto
that
il
kind
mondo.
of actress.
She is. The sources really emphasize her ability to communicate a whole range of emotions with these subtle expressions.
And what about James Carter? He's playing the AI architect, right?
He is, and he brings a lot of gravitas to the role.
He's known for playing those complex, morally ambiguous characters.
He is. He's really good at portraying characters who are wrestling with their own demons.
And it sounds like that's exactly what the AI architect is doing in this film.
He is, and the source material suggests that there's some really intense chemistry between Mia Chen and James Carter on screen.
Oh, wow. I can't wait to see that.
Me neither. It sounds like they really brought their A game to this project.
So, to sum it all up, we've got this visionary director, a talented cast, breathtaking visuals, a haunting score, a thought-provoking script, and a skilled editor.
It does sound like they've thought of everything.
It does, and it makes me even more excited to see Elysium's Edge.
Me too. I think it's going to be one of those films that sticks with you long after you've seen it.
The kind of film that sparks conversations and makes you think about the world in a new way.
Exactly. And isn't that what great cinema is all about?
It is. It's about more than just entertainment. It's about challenging our perspectives and expanding our understanding of ourselves and the world around us.
And Elysium's Edge seems to do all of that and more.
It does, and I think this deep dive has given us a really good foundation for understanding the film and appreciating all the work that went into it.
I agree. It's been a fascinating journey.
It has. And to all you listeners out there, if you're as intrigued by Elysium's Edge as we are, make sure you check it out when it hits theaters, because it's going to be an experience you won't want to miss.
Trust us on this one.
In the meantime, keep exploring those big questions, keep challenging your assumptions, and keep diving deep. We'll catch you next time.
All right, let's be real. Who doesn't love a good fantasy film? But, sometimes it's those epic fails that really get us talking, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So today we're diving into fantasy films, 21st century's worst adaptations and fails. And specifically, we're going to focus on that top 10 worst. No, we're not just here to poke fun at these cinematic train
Mobil mi
wrecks.
çalıştı
We're
işte.
going to try to figure out what makes these failures so fascinating.
Right.
What were the filmmakers going for, and where did it all go so wrong?
It's a tough task adapting fantasy. I mean, think about it. The source material usually comes with like super passionate fans, intricate worlds, and you're not just adapting a plot. You're trying to like capture the magic.
Totally. And when it's missing, the disappointment can be huge.
For sure.
Speaking of passionate fans, let's start with some films that sparked some serious controversy. The Last Airbender and Gods of Egypt both were really slammed for casting choices that felt a little out of touch with
Nasıl
us.
bir tane var çocuklar?
Yeah. The backlash went beyond just like the actors. It really tapped into this bigger conversation about representation and authenticity in fantasy.
Right.
Fans felt like the cultural context was being erased, which is especially jarring when you're dealing with worlds inspired by, diverse mythologies.
And it wasn't just fans calling this out. Even the director of Gods of Egypt later admitted to, missing the mark with the casting.
Yeah.
Kind of a sting a little bit, right? But it does show that there's a shift in awareness, which is a step in the right direction.
It certainly does.
Now, on a purely technical level, another pitfall we see in this list is the overuse of CGI.
Oh, yeah.
Gods of Egypt pops up again here alongside Seventh Son.
Yeah.
It's like they thought more CGI equals more epic, but it often had the opposite effect.
Absolutely.
Gods of Egypt especially felt like it leaned so hard on CGI that it almost went into that uncanny valley territory.
Yeah, it's
Where things look almost real, but something just feels off, and it's kind of creepy.
that unsettling feeling you get when something
Yeah.
looks almost human.
Dedekten lagi siya
Like in Gods of Egypt, think about those stiff facial expressions, the movements. It takes you out of the story instead of drawing you in.
Right.
Remember all the excitement around Saphira the Dragon from Aragon? Everyone was so excited. Majestic creature. Let's just say,
Atole parviti
the
or
final CGI dragon didn't quite live up to the hype.
It's like they put all their energy into making Saphira technologically
Yeah, and
impressive.
it highlights this really important point. Spectacle without substance just leaves
Kapaz
you
zaini
empty.
tuza.
Speaking
Tudo
of
isso, Ana.
substance, or lack thereof, let's talk about the curse of the rushed adaptation. Aragon and the Dark Tower, oh boy, those are prime examples of trying to cram epic, sprawling narratives into runtimes that just couldn't contain them.
Right, they tried to fit like a whole universe into a tiny box.
Yeah, I remember feeling like I was watching a highlight Dark Tower instead of like actually experiencing the story.
Yeah.
They hit plot points, but all that rich world building, all those characters from the books, just gone.
And that's really where these adaptations miss the mark. They focus so much on like translating the plot that they forgot about the heart of the story. The things that made fans connect with those worlds in the first place.
It's like baking a cake and forgetting the sugar, You've got the ingredients, but it's just not gonna taste right.
Perfect analogy. And sometimes even a sprinkle of Hollywood stardust can't save a doomed adaptation.
Right.
Take Seventh Son, for example, with Jeff Bridges, Julianne Moore.
Yeah, you'd think that star power they could pull off anything, but Seventh Son proves that big names and big budgets just aren't enough if the story itself doesn't hold up.
It's like putting a fancy coat of paint on a crumbling house. You can try to cover up those problems,
Yeah.
but they're still there.
Exactly.
And speaking of questionable casting, we can't forget Jeremy Irons, who somehow ended up in two of these top 10 worst films. Dungeons and Dragons from 2000, and Aragon.
You know, his performance in Dungeons and Dragons is kind of legendary, though maybe not for the reasons he intended. It's so over the top that it almost becomes like enjoyable in its own way.
Oh, I see what you mean. It's that so bad it's good phenomenon.
Exactly. Have you seen it? What did you think?
I have, and honestly, I'm still not sure what to make of it. It's like a car crash you can't look away from.
Yeah, it's definitely a unique experience. But hey, let's get into some specific examples of what really went wrong in these films. You're a big fan of the Last Airbender series,
Oh, huge fan.
so we have to talk about that infamous earthbending scene.
Oh no.
Imagine, instead of the swift, powerful movements from the animated series, we get this group of earthbenders awkwardly shuffling their feet and waving their arms. It feels like forever before a single rock moves, like a couple of inches.
It's painful to watch. They
Yeah.
completely miss the point of bending in the show. It's not just physical, it's a spiritual connection to the element.
Right.
The film just turned this display of power and grace into something clunky and awkward.
All right, let's switch to Aragon for a sec. Remember the difference between Jeremy Irons' all dramatic as Brahm and Ed Speller's, let's say, reserved performance as Aragon? It felt like they were acting in two completely different movies.
Yeah, the uneven acting is a symptom of a bigger problem. There's no chemistry, and the direction feels unclear. The actors just seem lost, unsure of how to play their roles or how to interact with each other.
Okay, ready for this. Let's go back to Dungeons and Dragons and that legendary Jeremy Irons shouting scene.
Oh boy.
Picture him standing there, full villain gear, bellowing lines like a Shakespearean actor who wandered onto the wrong set.
Right.
It's so over the top, it's almost impressive.
You have to admire the commitment, I guess.
It does make you wonder, can a movie so bad it's good actually be considered a successful adaptation? I'm curious, what do you think?
That's a tough one. I mean, it depends on how you define successful, right?
True.
Does it have to be critically acclaimed, or can it find a different kind of success, like becoming a cult classic that people enjoy because it's so ridiculous?
Maybe we need a whole new category for those so bad they're good adaptations.
I'm on board with that.
But before we go down that rabbit hole, let's move on to The Legend of Hercules.
Ah, yes. A film that promised epic battles and mythical grandeur, but delivered something else.
Totally. Picture a climactic fight scene with a lightning whip. It should have been thrilling, visually stunning, but it ends up looking like, I don't know, a poorly choreographed school play. The movements are awkward, the special effects feel straight out of a 90s video game.
It's like they didn't even believe in the myth they were trying to portray.
It's like trying to create a lightning bolt and all you get is a flicker.
A very dim flicker.
Let's shift gears a bit. How about The Snow Queen? It aimed for that classic fairy tale magic, but the animation felt, well, a little frozen in time, especially compared to Disney's Frozen, which ironically is kind of inspired by the same fairy tale.
It's amazing how much technology has changed animation.
Right.
The Snow Queen just couldn't compete with the visuals that audiences have come to expect.
Okay, gotta mention the Nutcracker and the Four Realms. Keira Knightley, amazing actress, but her performance as the Sugar Plum Fairy was
Oh, yes.
a lot, let's just say that.
It was a choice, that's for sure.
And finally, Artemis Fowl. This film felt like it was trying so hard to be clever and edgy that it forgot to be, well, entertaining. Remember that part where Josh Gad's character, Mulch Diggums, talks directly to the camera?
Oh, the exposition dumps.
It was like they were trying to force feed the audience information that they cut from the main story.
a classic example of how too much exposition can actually hurt the story.
So we've seen a lot of what went wrong, but beyond just laughing at these flops, what can we actually learn? What can these films teach us about the challenges of adapting fantasy and, the complexities of filmmaking in general?
It's all about approaching adaptation with respect for the source material, a deep understanding of the genre, and trust in the audience.
They're remembering that adaptation is this delicate balancing act. You want to stay true to the original, but also create something new.
Right, you have to walk that tightrope between being faithful and being original.
Yeah.
It's not easy. It's kind of funny we're talking about failures,
Yeah.
but dissecting these films, figuring out what went wrong, it's actually really interesting.
Yeah, for sure. It's like a puzzle trying to piece together what the filmmakers were thinking and why it just didn't work. And sometimes it's not just what's on screen, The stuff happening around a film's release can have a big impact.
Oh, absolutely. Like, remember The Golden Compass? So much controversy even before it came out.
Oh, yeah.
It got caught up in those religious debates,
Yeah.
which definitely affected how people saw it, even though the film itself wasn't super religious.
Yeah, that's a great point. All that outside stuff can really make or break a movie. It's not always about the film itself.
Right, and you can't forget about how fast visual effects change. Look at the Spiderwick Chronicles. It came out right when CGI was getting big.
Oh, yeah.
Looking back, the effects might look a little dated, but at the time, they were pretty cutting edge.
I guess those early CGI films were like a stepping stone, leading to the amazing visuals we see in fantasy movies now.
Exactly. Makes you wonder what those effects will look like in 10, 20 years. Will they age well, or will they look totally outdated?
That's a whole other deep dive. But for now, let's get back to those moments that made us cringe, laugh, or just shake our heads.
Those what were they thinking moments.
Hmm.
We talked about that earthbending scene in The Last Airbender, but there's another scene from that movie we gotta mention. Anang trying to ride that giant wave.
Oh man, that was rough. It looked less like waterbending and more like Aang was, I don't know, awkwardly flailing on top of a CGI blob. Did that one get to you too?
Oh, for sure. It felt so out of place, like it belonged in a different movie. No grace, no power, just kind of...
And the Olympians. The lightning thief, remember that Medusa scene?
Oh yeah, with Uma Thurman.
Yeah, the one where she turns everyone to stone. It was trying to be scary, but
Mm-hmm.
ended up being more funny than anything. Like a bad haunted house.
The special effects were definitely cheesy. And Uma Thurman's performance, well, let's just say she went all out.
Yeah.
It was hard to take it seriously.
Totally. And sometimes it's not even the effects or the acting, it's the whole vibe of the scene. Like in Inkheart, there's that part where Dustfinger brings a shadow creature to life.
Right.
It's supposed to be this big magical moment, but it falls flat. There's no energy, no creativity.
You can tell they were trying to recreate the magic from the book.
Yeah.
But they just didn't quite get there. They missed that spark.
It's like trying to catch lightning in a bottle. Sometimes it works, sometimes you end up with a lot of broken glass.
A good analogy. But let's not just focus on the bad stuff. What makes a truly good fantasy adaptation? What are the essential ingredients?
For me, it's all about the world building, the characters, that sense of wonder. I want to be transported to another world, connect with the characters, and experience that same feeling of awe and amazement that got me into fantasy in the first place.
I agree. You need a world that feels real, with characters you care about, and a story that strikes your imagination. And it's about finding that balance, staying true to the original, but also making choices that work on screen.
It's like walking a tightrope between staying true to the original and being original.
Right. And you need to understand both the source material and how movies work.
Yeah.
You can't just copy the book. You have to translate it visually, use the tools of filmmaking to bring the world and characters to life.
Like taking a painting and turning it into music. Different tools, but the goal is the same. Make the audience feel something.
You know, even the best adaptations, they don't please everyone. Some fans will always feel like things were messed up or characters weren't right.
It's true. No adaptation can be perfect. It's always going to be seen through the director's eyes. And that's where it gets interesting. There are lots of ways to adapt something. What one person hates, another person might love.
It all comes down to recognizing that adaptation is subjective. You're taking something from one form and putting it into another. Something is always going to be lost or changed.
But hopefully something is gained too, right? A new perspective, a fresh take, a chance to see the story in a different light.
That's what makes adaptation so exciting. It's about reinventing and rediscovering, pushing the boundaries of storytelling.
Speaking of pushing boundaries, let's talk about some adaptations that took some risks, went in unexpected directions. Some worked, some didn't.
The what if adaptations.
Yeah.
The ones that make you think, what were they thinking? But also, maybe this could actually work.
Like Stardust, it took this awesome Neil Gaiman novel and turned it into this fun adventure movie. Not exactly like the book, but it still felt like Gaiman, just with its own spin.
A good example of balancing staying true to the original with being original. Took some liberties, but it still respected the book and made something new and entertaining.
Then you've got The Seeker, The Dark is Rising, which tried to squeeze this complex fantasy series into one movie. They tried, but it ended up being a confusing mess.
They tried to do too much, too fast. Crammed a whole saga into 2 hours and lost all the depth and the characters. Like trying to fit the ocean into a teacup.
You get a few drops, but you miss the whole thing.
Exactly. It shows how important pacing is in adaptation. Sometimes it's better to focus on a smaller part of the story instead of trying to do everything.
It's like trying to eat a 5-course meal in one bite. You get a taste, but you don't enjoy it.
Speaking of enjoying things, let's talk about some adaptations that really got it right, that took us to those amazing worlds and made us believe in the impossible,
The ones that felt like stepping right into our favorite books.
like Howl's Moving Castle. Studio Ghibli took this whimsical book by Diana Wynne Jones and turned it into this beautiful film. It stayed true to the spirit of the book while adding its own magic.
Animation can be perfect for fantasy. It lets you be so creative visually in a way live action just can't.
And it's about getting the right director. Hayao Miyazaki, he gets fantasy. He knows how to create worlds that feel both familiar and fantastical.
It's like he takes those childhood dreams we all have and puts them on screen.
And then there's Pan's Labyrinth, a movie that mixed fantasy and reality in a way that was both beautiful and haunting. It's a darker, more grown-up kind of fantasy, but still magical.
It reminds us that fantasy isn't just about escaping. It can explore serious themes and emotions too.
And it can make us question what's real and what's not, blurring the line between reality and imagination.
So we've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly of fantasy adaptation. What have we learned? What can we take away from all this?
Maybe the biggest lesson is that adapting something is hard. You need to understand the story and how movies work. You have to take risks. You have to be passionate about telling stories. And even then, there's no guarantee it'll work out.
But that's part of what makes it exciting, right? The challenge, the uncertainty, the chance to create something truly special.
Exactly. Adapting something is a journey, not a destination. It's worth taking the risk, even if you don't know where you'll end up.
So, as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, let's appreciate the power of fantasy. It lets us push the limits of our imaginations, face our fears, and believe in the impossible.
And it keeps changing and surprising us with endless possibilities for stories and new ways of making movies.
Now, before we move on to the final part of our deep dive, I want to hear from you. What stood out to you during this discussion? What really resonated with you? And what questions are still on your mind? So we've talked about all these things that went wrong, but what really surprised you? Was there one film that just totally missed the mark?
It's interesting how often these films just don't get the source material. It's not about copying the plot, it's about understanding what makes the story special. The themes, the tone, you know.
It's like translating a poem. You can get the words right, but sometimes the beauty, the feeling gets lost.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why fans get so upset when a movie messes up their favorite book. It's not just about seeing the story on screen, it's about seeing it done right, you know.
Like someone trying to paint a picture of your favorite memory. They get all the details, but the feeling is just not there.
What about you? As a fantasy fan, what's most important to you in an adaptation? True to the book, the special effects, the actors. Or something else.
World building for sure. When a film really takes me to another world, when I can feel the history, the magic, that's when it's special.
And those worlds often need a good mix of practical effects and CGI. The best moments blend them together so well you can't tell where one ends and the other begins.
Like The Lord of the Rings, those huge landscapes were real places, but the creatures were CGI and it all felt so real.
Exactly. CGI should add to the world, not take over. And sometimes, less is more. A simple practical effect can be way more powerful than a ton of CGI.
It's like good food. Sometimes simple and real is better than a huge buffet of processed stuff.
So one last question. If you could go back and give one piece of advice to the makers of one of these flops, what would it be? What should they have focused on to capture the magic of the original?
And if you could fix one of these movies, which one would you choose? What would you change first?
It's fun to think about how these films could have been better, what we can learn from their mistakes. They remind us how powerful fantasy is and how we should always try to make those magical movie experiences.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into fantasy film flops. We hope you enjoyed it, and we encourage you to keep thinking critically as you explore the world of fantasy.
Okay, so you know how everyone always gets excited about the Oscars?
Oh, yeah.
And it feels like the best picture is always the biggest deal.
Yeah.
I think sometimes, and we were talking about this in the stuff you sent me, it kind of seems like some of those movies that win,
Yeah.
they don't really stick with people the same way.
Right.
You know? Like years later, we're not talking about the same excitement.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
So that's what we're going to dig into today. You sent over all this interesting stuff about 21st century Best Picture winners and how some of them,
Yeah.
well, a lot of people think they're not as good as maybe we thought they were at the time.
Yeah. You know, it is interesting to go back and look at those films.
Right.
Because they were so celebrated,
Right.
you know, when they won.
Totally.
And to see which ones are still kind of part of the conversation.
Exactly.
And which ones have maybe faded a little bit.
Yeah, and your sources really make you think about why that is. So basically what we're going to do is figure out why some of these movies that won Best Picture maybe haven't held up over time.
Right.
And, you know, it's not just that some of them are slow.
Yeah.
The stuff you sent is a lot.
Find this idea of a film being boring in a way that goes beyond just the pacing.
Okay.
So it's not just like, is it a fast movie or a slow movie? It's more about like, do you connect with the characters?
Right.
Does the story really grab you? And do you walk out of the theater
Yeah.
and, you know, still feel engaged with it days or weeks later?
Okay, interesting.
And, you know, that's regardless of what critics might have said at the time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, it's more nuanced than just like, oh, it's slow.
So let's dive into some specific movies then.
Okay, sounds good.
One that your sources mentioned a few times is The King's Speech
Okay.
from back in 2010. I mean, the story itself is really interesting, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
King George VI having to overcome his stammer.
Yeah, and Colin Firth was incredible.
Oh, he was fantastic.
Definitely deserved that Oscar.
For sure.
Okay.
But your sources make this point that maybe it's not as exciting as some other movies about royalty.
Yeah, that's one of the arguments.
Okay.
Like, it doesn't have that same visual grandeur
Okay.
or the kind of dramatic intensity that you see in some of those really epic royal dramas. Like, it
Interesting.
focuses more on the characters, which is great. You know, it's done really well.
Right.
But maybe it's not as, like, visually spectacular.
Got it. One of your sources even said it felt kind of like a really well-made documentary.
Oh, interesting.
And when you think about the other films that were nominated that year,
Yeah.
like The Social Network,
All right.
all that fast talking and how relevant it felt to what was happening then, or Black Swan,
Yeah.
so dark and visually striking,
Mhm.
and then Inception, which was just mind-blowing.
Oh, yeah. Completely different.
So compared to those, The King's Speech does feel kind of, well, a little more low-key. I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, you could say that.
So it did a great job telling this important historical story, and the acting was top-notch.
Right.
But maybe it's not the kind of film that really stays with you.
Yeah, or had that same kind of cultural impact
Right.
that some of the others from that year had.
Okay, so moving on then.
Okay.
The Artist won in 2012.
Yeah.
Remember that one?
Oh, yeah.
It was such a big deal at the time.
Definitely.
Everyone was talking about it being silent and in black and white.
It was totally unique.
It really was.
Like, you didn't see anything else like that.
Exactly.
And your sources talk about how charming it was and how impressive it was technically.
Right,
Like, it was clearly a love letter to old Hollywood.
right.
But they also kind of suggest that maybe the novelty of it was the main thing.
Oh, okay.
You know, like, it was different, so people loved it.
Interesting.
But maybe that wore off for a lot of people.
Yeah, that's what the sources say.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that there was no dialogue, which obviously was an artistic choice,
Right.
but it seems like it might have been a barrier for some people.
Yeah, some people just want to hear the characters talking.
For sure.
And the love story was nice.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like a groundbreaking love story.
Right, it didn't reinvent the wheel or anything.
Yeah, exactly.
And, you know, at that time, there were so many movies doing new things with technology and storytelling. And so it seems like The Artist maybe felt like a step back.
Yeah, like a beautiful throwback,
Right.
but a throwback nonetheless.
And maybe it didn't really have a lasting impact beyond the awards.
Yeah, that seems to be the feeling from the sources.
Okay, so let's talk about Green Book now,
Okay.
which won Best Picture in 2018. This is definitely a film that wanted to make people feel good.
For sure.
You know, it's about race relations
Okay.
and how these two guys from different backgrounds form this friendship on a road trip. But the sources also point out that it got a lot of criticism because people felt like it oversimplified some really complex social issues.
Yeah, they said it presented racial harmony
Right.
as something that was achieved too easily.
Okay.
And so it kind of turned this really important and difficult topic
Yeah.
into something that felt like a light road trip movie.
And of course, Mahershala Ali and Viggo Mortensen were
Oh
amazing.
yeah, their performances were fantastic.
But the story itself,
Yeah,
it was pretty predictable.
kind of a classic buddy movie structure.
Yeah, and it had that very feel-good vibe throughout,
Mhm.
which apparently some people didn't like.
They felt it was a little too simplistic.
Yeah, and then there were all those controversies about whether it was historically accurate.
Right, that definitely didn't help.
So all of that kind of added up to what your sources call an underwhelming legacy for Green Book.
Yeah, it wanted to be this uplifting story,
Right.
but it seems like maybe it didn't really connect with people on a deeper level.
Interesting. Okay, now Crash from 2005. Oh, okay. This is a film that caused a lot of arguments right from when it won.
It sure did.
I mean, it tackled these really important issues of race and prejudice, but people had very strong feelings about it on both sides.
Yeah, your sources call it a highly debated winner.
Okay.
Some people really praised it at the time
Yeah.
for being willing to talk about these racial tensions in America.
Yeah.
But then a lot of other people thought it was too heavy-handed
Okay.
and that it felt kind of contrived.
And then there's the whole thing with Brokeback Mountain,
Oh, yeah.
which a lot of people felt should have won that year. And the sources definitely talk about that.
Yeah, a lot of people still think Brokeback Mountain was robbed.
And that just made the whole thing with Crash even more controversial.
Exactly.
And it's fascinating how people's opinions on Crash seem to have changed over time.
Yeah, that's something the sources pick up on.
Like its initial impact has faded,
Uh-huh.
and the way it deals with racism, which some people thought was really bold at the time.
Right.
Now a lot of people think it's actually pretty simplistic,
Mhm.
even manipulative.
Yeah, the sources use that word.
Okay, so let's move on to The Shape of Water then.
All right.
Guillermo del Toro's movie from 2017.
Yeah, beautiful film.
It was visually stunning.
The visuals were just incredible.
And the whole idea of a woman falling in love with a sea creature,
Yeah, so unique.
like nothing you'd ever seen before.
Definitely not your typical love story.
But your sources mentioned that even though it looked amazing,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people found it hard to connect with emotionally.
Yeah, some people found it strange
Okay.
and slow
Mhm.
and just difficult to get into.
It seems like it really divided audiences and critics.
Yeah, some people thought it was a masterpiece
Mhm.
and others thought it was all style and no substance.
Right, and the sources actually call it one of the more divisive Best Picture winners recently.
Yeah, it definitely sparked a lot of debate.
And that actually brings up an interesting point the sources make.
Oh, what's that?
They talk about this idea of the English patient effect.
The English patient effect. Okay.
Yeah, so basically they're saying that these long
Okay.
and often kind of serious dramas
Yeah,
seem to do really well at the Oscars.
they tend to win a lot.
Yeah, and they're using The English Patient from 1996 as the main example.
Okay.
Which, let's be honest,
Yeah.
was a little bit of a slog for some people to get through.
It was long
Very long.
and so.
And they connect that to some of these 21st century winners like 12 Years a Slave
Right.
and The Revenant.
Yeah, both incredibly powerful films,
Oh, for sure.
but very intense.
And long.
And the argument is that sometimes these kinds of films can feel
Yeah,
almost like homework.
Right.
Like you feel like you should watch them
right.
because they're important,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not necessarily enjoyable to watch.
Yeah. Laugh
You,
at
like you admire them,
Right.
but you don't necessarily want to watch them again. So
Right.
it's like you appreciate them, but you don't love them.
Yeah, okay, so to contrast that a little,
Okay.
the sources talk about No Country for Old Men
Oh yeah,
from 2007.
that's a great film.
It is,
Yeah.
and it seems like it's really stood the test of time.
Yeah, people still talk about it
Mhm.
and praise it.
And your sources highlight the storytelling
So tense.
Yeah.
You're on the edge of your seat the whole time.
and the performances are incredible.
Oh yeah, just unforgettable.
And when you compare it to some of the other winners we've talked about,
Hmm.
it really makes you think about what makes a Best Picture winner truly great.
Yeah, what makes it deserving of that award?
Right. And that kind of leads into this idea of Oscar bias.
Oscar bias.
Yeah, which the sources talk about. Like, they suggest that maybe the Academy sometimes plays it safe.
Okay.
It's like maybe they tend to choose movies that are well, kind of middle of the road,
Okay.
that have a wide appeal,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe aren't that groundbreaking or challenging.
Yeah.
And they mention Green Book and The King's Speech again as examples
Oh.
of films that maybe fit into that category.
So not necessarily bad films,
Right.
but maybe not the most exciting choices.
Yeah. And so the sources asked this question.
Okay.
What should the Oscars be for?
That's a good question.
Should they be about rewarding innovation
Mm-hmm.
and pushing boundaries?
Yeah.
Or should they be about recognizing films that are more traditional
Right.
and that maybe appeal to a wider audience?
It's a tough one
It is.
because you want to celebrate great filmmaking,
Right.
but you also want to recognize films that people actually connect with.
Exactly. And then there's this whole idea of rewatchability,
Oh, yeah.
which the sources bring up. Like, they're saying that a truly great film
Mhm.
isn't just something you watch once.
Right, yeah. You want to watch it again.
Right. And again.
Find new things in it each time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But some of these Best Picture winners,
Yeah.
they kind of fade away after the Oscars are over.
Yeah, they don't have that staying power.
And so the sources are saying that maybe how much you want to rewatch a film
Mm-hmm.
is a sign of how good it really is.
That makes sense.
And then there's the whole Oscar hype.
I
You know how there's all this buzz around a movie when it wins,
for sure.
but your sources point out that that doesn't always last.
Sometimes it fades pretty quickly.
Exactly.
Right.
Public opinion can change, be forgotten a few years later.
Especially as our culture changes.
Right. And we can't forget about the whole politics of Hollywood.
Oh, yeah.
Your sources talk about how campaigning and studio backing,
And even social movements.
right, all of that can influence who wins.
For sure. It's not always just about the art of filmmaking.
Exactly. And that makes you wonder if the movies that win
Mm-hmm.
are always the ones that really deserve to.
It's a good question.
So basically, what we've learned from all this stuff you sent
Yeah.
is that just because a movie wins Best Picture doesn't mean it's actually a great film
Right.
or that it's going to have a lasting impact.
And sometimes the movies that win
Yeah.
are actually kind of boring.
Or maybe even misfires.
Yeah, the sources use that word.
So it's a good reminder that those golden statues
Mm-hmm.
don't always equal cinematic magic.
Yeah. The Oscars aren't always right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for everyone listening, think about the Best Picture winners we haven't even mentioned today.
Oh, okay.
And think about the ones that you thought were maybe a little boring
Mm,
or that you haven't thought about in years
yeah.
because maybe the Oscars got it wrong.
That's something to think about.
It definitely is.
For sure.
Okay, well, this was fascinating.
Yeah, I enjoyed this.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
All right, everyone, thanks for listening,
See ya.
and we'll see you next time. All right, so get this. We're diving into a story about Audrey Hepburn and the 1954 Oscars.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the epitome of grace,
Oh, yeah.
the icon of style.
Right.
Well, she almost missed her big Oscar moment.
What's...
We're going to unpack why this seemingly small event has captured imaginations for decades.
It really is interesting.
It is.
It's a great example of how these unscripted moments, these cracks in the perfectly polished facade of Hollywood,
Yeah,
can actually make a star more enduring,
Right.
more relatable.
more human.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so imagine 1950s Hollywood.
Okay.
Think Roman Holiday,
Mhm.
which had just become this global phenomenon.
Huge.
It wasn't just a hit.
Right.
It really redefined what a female star could be.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Hepburn wasn't the typical Hollywood bombshell.
Yeah.
Her charm was in her authenticity
Right.
and vulnerability.
That's serious.
And Roman Holiday captured that perfectly.
So the Oscars that year were held at the Panches Theater.
Okay.
Can you set the scene for us? What was the significance of winning an Oscar during that era?
I mean, think of it as the ultimate validation.
Oh, wow.
This was the golden age of cinema.
Yeah.
Careers were made and shattered on that stage.
Oh my gosh.
The studio system was all powerful,
Wow.
and an Oscar win meant everything.
So the stakes were incredibly high.
Absolutely.
And for Hepburn,
Yeah.
a relative newcomer,
Right?
to be nominated for Roman Holiday?
Yeah,
That must have been huge.
it was, especially since she was up against some heavy hitters.
Really?
Deborah Kerr,
Wow.
Ava Gardner.
Okay.
No one really expected her to win.
Oh, wow.
It was David versus Goliath,
Yeah.
Hollywood style.
I love it.
You know?
Okay. I'm officially on the edge of my seat.
Okay.
So the big night arrives.
Right.
What was the atmosphere like?
Electric.
Ooh.
The Pantages was packed
I bet.
with Hollywood royalty.
Wow.
You have to remember that live television broadcasts were relatively new then.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. So the whole world was watching.
That's so cool.
The energy was palpable.
So the moment arrives,
Mhm.
the presenter opens the envelope.
And the Oscar goes to
Yes.
Audrey Hepburn?
The audience erupts.
Yes. But then silence.
What?
Where is she?
Wait, what? She's not there?
No?
I could already feel the tension building.
Exactly. Oh my gosh.
Seating wasn't as strategically planned back then.
Right.
No one knew where she'd gone.
Oh my gosh.
And remember, this is live TV.
Yeah.
No way to rewind or get instant updates.
This is crazy. I bet the theories were flying.
Oh, yeah.
Did she faint? Run to the restroom?
Who knows?
Wardrobe malfunction?
Could be.
This is already more dramatic than some of the movies nominated.
I know, right?
Wow.
The mystery only adds to the allure of the story.
I bet.
To this day, we don't know exactly what happened.
You're kidding.
Nope.
Wow.
Some say she was backstage,
Okay.
maybe for a last-minute dress adjustment.
Huh?
Completely oblivious.
That's incredible.
I know.
Imagine being so caught up in the behind-the-scenes chaos that you miss your name being called for an Oscar.
Right.
Talk about an irony.
The irony.
Did they ever figure out what really happened?
Not definitively,
Oh, wow.
but that's part of what makes this whole thing so fascinating.
Right.
It's this little pocket of Hollywood history
Yeah.
that remains unsolved.
Okay, this is already so much more than just a story about a missing actress.
I know it is.
This is about the allure of the unknown,
Total.
the human moments behind the glamour.
Absolutely.
But we can't leave her missing forever, right?
Well, no.
She did eventually make it to the stage to accept her Oscar.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, good.
And that's where we really see the impact of this unplanned disappearance.
Okay, let's talk about that acceptance speech.
Right.
Everyone loves a good Oscar speech.
Yes.
What made hers so memorable?
Well, for one, it was completely off the cuff.
What?
Yeah.
No teleprompter,
Right.
no pre-written notes.
Well, just pure, unfiltered emotion.
Exactly.
Wow. So, unlike the carefully crafted speeches we see today,
I know.
that must have taken some serious guts.
It did.
What did she say?
It was brief,
Okay.
humble, and utterly charming.
Yeah.
There's this famous photo of her on stage,
Yeah.
clutching the Oscar
Right.
with a look of pure astonishment.
I can picture it.
She even says it's too much,
Whoa.
overwhelmed by the moment.
That's so sweet.
That vulnerability is what made it resonate.
It's like we're getting a glimpse behind the curtain.
Yeah,
A reminder that even icons are human.
exact.
And that's what makes this story so compelling. It's a tiny moment in time,
Yeah.
but it speaks volumes about our fascination with fame,
Yes.
with perfection,
Uh-huh.
and with those rare instances where the facade slips
Right.
and we see the real person beneath.
Absolutely.
It's funny because this whole lost Oscar moment
Yeah.
reminds me of another iconic Oscars incident.
Right.
60 years later,
Mhm.
Jennifer Lawrence,
Oh, yeah.
tripping on her way to accept her award.
That's a fantastic parallel.
Right.
Both moments,
Yeah.
though decades apart, speak to this humanizing element that audiences crave.
I agree.
You know, these seemingly perfect individuals at the pinnacle of their careers,
Right.
having these very relatable, unscripted moments.
Yeah, it's like it makes them more accessible,
Right.
more real.
Exactly.
It reminds us that they're not these untouchable figures.
Mm-hmm.
They're just people who get flustered,
Yeah.
trip up,
Yeah.
and sometimes even get lost on their way to accepting an Oscar.
And it's interesting to think about how those moments resonate differently now
Right.
compared to back in Hepburn's day.
Yeah.
The media landscape has changed so drastically.
Oh, absolutely.
Back then, it was all about the live broadcast,
Yeah.
the immediate reaction.
Yeah.
Today, a moment like Lawrence's fall becomes an instant meme,
Oh, yeah.
shared and analyzed endlessly online.
That's true.
You know?
It's like these unscripted moments have become part of the whole Oscar experience.
Right.
We anticipate them almost.
Yeah.
We wait for that one moment that will break the internet, so to speak.
Right.
It's become part of the spectacle.
Exactly.
But back then, it was genuinely shocking.
Yeah.
People were on the edge of their seats,
Mm,
wondering what was happening.
precisely.
And that element of surprise,
Yeah.
that break from the carefully orchestrated show,
Right.
is what makes it so compelling.
It disrupts the narrative,
Yes.
shakes things up.
Thinking about other famous unscripted Oscar moments,
Oh, yeah.
Sally Field,
Mm-hmm.
the Moonlight mix-up,
Oh, yeah.
Adrian Brody's kiss.
Right?
These are the moments that stick with us, right?
Absolutely.
The perfectly rehearsed speeches often fade from memory.
Yeah.
But it's those raw, authentic moments
Right.
that we remember and talk about for years to come.
And it makes you wonder if those moments, however unintentional,
Yeah.
actually add to the legacy of the individual and the event itself.
I think so.
It's like a little piece of history
Mm,
that gets infused with personality, with humanity. It
Yeah.
makes it more memorable,
Yeah.
more relatable.
It's almost as if these moments are a reminder that even in the most controlled environments,
Yeah,
life has a way of throwing in a curveball.
it really does.
And sometimes those curveballs are what make the story truly great.
I think that's a brilliant insight.
Thanks.
It's about embracing the unexpected,
Yeah.
acknowledging that perfection is an illusion.
Right.
And it's those imperfections, those unscripted moments
Right.
that often reveal the most truth, the
Yeah.
most humanity.
Speaking of truth and humanity,
Yeah.
let's go back to Audrey Hepburn for a moment.
Okay.
That Oscar win for Roman Holiday was the only competitive Oscar she would ever win,
Yes, that's right.
which makes this almost missed moment even more poignant.
It really does.
This iconic actress
Yeah.
who would go on to become a legend almost didn't get to experience that pinnacle of recognition.
Wow.
It really makes you think about how these seemingly small moments can have such a profound impact on a career,
I know.
on a life.
Yeah.
It almost feels symbolic in a way. Like even though she almost missed her moment,
Yeah.
she still made it.
Right.
She persevered,
It did.
and her talent ultimately shone through.
Exactly.
And her performance in Roman Holiday continues to captivate audiences to this day.
Absolutely.
It's a timeless classic.
It is.
And her portrayal of Princess Anne is etched
To her talent
Yeah.
and to the power of a film that captures something universal.
Oh, for sure.
Roman Holiday resonated with audiences because it touched on themes of freedom, identity, and the desire for something more.
Yeah.
And Hepburn embodied those themes perfectly.
I think what's also interesting is how this whole lost Oscar incident adds another layer to her legacy.
Absolutely.
It's like this little anecdote that reveals something deeper about her,
Right.
about the person behind the icon. It humanizes her,
Yes.
makes her more relatable, even decades after her passing.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
It reminds us that even someone as poised and elegant as Audrey Hepburn had moments of, right, of being caught off guard. And I think that's what makes this story so enduring.
Yeah.
It challenges the
Amore, molto
image
nuda
of
questo.
perfection that
Poi-
often surrounds celebrities and reminds us that they're just as
Ah,
human
perché
as
me
the
c'è la
rest of
partita
us.
dopo.
It's like we're getting a peek behind the curtain,
Yeah.
a glimpse into the real Audrey Hepburn, a woman who, despite her grace and composure, was just as susceptible to the unexpected twists and turns of life as anyone else.
Exactly.
It makes you wonder if those moments of vulnerability are actually the key to lasting appeal.
That's a really interesting thought. You know, we often build celebrities up into these larger than life figures.
Right.
But it's those cracks in the facade, those moments where their humanity shines through that truly captivate us,
It's like we need those reminders that they're not these perfect beings,
right?
that they experience the same awkwardness and unpredictability as the rest of us.
Exactly. It dismantles the illusion of perfection
Yeah.
and allows us to connect with them on a
Poi
deeper
fai
level.
un
So what does this all tell us about our fascination with fame and celebrity?
No.
Why are we so drawn to these stories, these behind-the-scenes glimpses into the lives of the rich and famous?
I think it's a complex interplay of factors.
Okay.
There's the aspirational element, of course.
Right.
We're drawn to success, to beauty, to talent.
We want to believe in the fairy tale.
Yeah, but there's also this deeper need for connection.
Okay.
We want to see ourselves reflected in these figures,
Right.
to know that even those who seem to have it all experience the same doubts, fears, and triumphs as we do.
And maybe those unscripted moments, those glimpses of